Hello and welcome to Too Many Movies, the podcast where we discuss DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional VHS tape. I'm your host, Tal, and with me here today...
Stop everything. You got to come back. We got to go back. We got to go back to the past. It's an emergency. It's now understatement to say the fate of the world is at stake. You're not going to believe. We got to go back to year 2015.
Go back to 2015?
We got to go to 2015. It's super important. We need to go back and warn my former self to invest in Bitcoin. You got to believe me. It's the fate of the world's at stake. This is super important.
Okay. Just your former self, not anybody else.
It's very important. You wouldn't understand, but if I don't know to invest in Bitcoin in 2015, terrible things are going to happen. The timeline will implode. This is very important. Yeah, we got to go back. I made a time machine out of our Discord chat.
Okay.
I got hit in the head with a pineapple, and it came to me in a vision. I made our Discord chat a time machine, so we just got to go back in time.
Sure. Okay, so we're going to go back to 2015, and that's all we're going to do. We're just going to tell your past self to invest in Bitcoin. There's nothing else has happened in the last...
We can go back, and we'll be... If we don't do this, we won't be able to record the podcast. There'll be no podcast. There'll be no Too Many Movies.
Right. Okay. You're right.
There'll be no internet or anything. But yeah, this is very important.
I'm not thinking fourth dimensionally.
Yeah, you're not thinking fourth dimensionally. So I'm just going to need you to put in the input in the chat.
Okay.
If you could put in October 19th, 2015.
Okay, here we go. I'm actually going to type it in. October 19th, 2015. Okay. I typed it in.
All right, any minute now. Now we just need to... I need you to accelerate your computer to 88 miles per hour.
Okay.
You can do that.
88 miles per hour. There. Okay.
No, you don't type it in. You have to your computer has to achieve a velocity of 88 miles per hour.
Oh, okay. So
this is really important, Hal. The fate of the universe is at stake. We need your computer to reach 88 miles per hour.
Okay. Computer reach 88 miles per hour. Fucking Windows 98.
It's not working. Nothing's happening. Oh no. I must have... There must be a broken component or something.
Yeah.
Oh man. We'll have to get back to this. The world can... I think the world can manage for a couple hours.
Okay. That sounds great. So we're not officially in 2015. We're still in 2025.
We're still in 2025.
Okay, that's fine. Well,
Scott.
All right. While we're waiting,
Great Scott, we're still in 2025.
I guess you know what. While we're waiting, let's have an episode where we talk about all three Back to the Future movies. How does that sound?
Oh, really? Yeah. I think I can make that happen.
Okay, cool.
We have 2 hours to record this podcast, or the world will end.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah. First things first, then.
Or
Swine.
More.
Yeah. Who know? Knowing you, who knows? Yeah.
Who knows? The Libyans might break in and murder me.
Right. Yeah. Because they're the Libyans.
They hate us Czechoslovakians.
Mm-hmm. Them specifically.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, so I asked you here today because I wanted to do an episode on Back to the Future, the trilogy. Because Back to the Future is one of those trilogies. Like, I would say the first movie, but I really mean all three movies were like huge for me growing up. They were some of my favorite films growing up, and I realized it had been a couple of years since I last watched them, and I figured, you know, with it being the 40th anniversary this year of the original, we might as well do an episode on it. So let's get right into that first movie then, Swine. What are your opening thoughts on the first movie specifically, Back to the Future?
Yeah, I right where with you on this was like a quintessential part of like my childhood. Is like, oh yeah, watch the Back to the Future movies. Like and for me, it was just they're there. They are like they're like Saturday morning cartoons almost. They're just kind of like they're Doc and Marty are really like charming characters. They're got great chemistry. They're enjoyable to follow, and you got like all the sci-fi. Just like it is just like they're really enjoyable movies, and I don't think they're like there's not a they're well written. Don't get me wrong, they're well written, but yeah, it's just they definitely have some campy aspects, and like it's not like there's not like a ton of depth to it. But they are super enjoyable to watch, I feel like. And the first one is like the phenomenons. You got the DeLoreans, the time machine, the number of just like iconic lines.
Yeah.
In these movies.
Yeah.
You made a DeLorean out of a time machine?
Yes, you made a time machine out of a DeLorean? Backwards through time. That's why. No. I think Saturday morning cartoon is definitely an interesting way of putting it, because I do agree, because I think it's because it's that like adventurous feeling the movie has. The movie feels like an adventure, even though they never leave the town. They're always in the same town in this movie and in the next few movies. They're always in Hill Valley, but you still feel as like you're going on this grand journey because you're going to a different time period, essentially.
Yeah, it builds up on itself.
Yes,
like, they use the same characters, the same locations,
the same actors.
They're really creative with it. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what I meant by same character. Yeah, same actors. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I think it's also just a lot of fun to watch because the script is so incredibly tight. You know. It uses every part of the buffalo. Like everything that's set up at one point throughout the movie comes back into play later on. And
and even like across the trilogy too.
Right.
Like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. They keep that going. Yeah, I especially love the first movie with its way of like kind of introducing that, because like, you know, little things that you don't really think about are brought up later on in the movie, and it's just like, oh, I didn't even pick up on that. Like, especially at the beginning when Marty walks in on like all the clocks ticking everywhere. You see that one? It's like the what's that, guys? It's not. There's a clock where like a guy's hanging off one of the hands.
The hands.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be from Safety Last. It's foreshadowing later on. It's explicitly, I forget the guy's name, Harold something or other. He was one of those silent film stars. Harold Lloyd, I think it was. But then literally Doc during the climax is hanging off one of the hands, the clock hands during the climax. But also
so they can be kind of heavy. Yeah. They can be, like, no pun intended, they can be kind of heavy-handed with their like references, which is I like that. I like that, like, I want to like be clear, like I am referencing this other thing and I want to like recreate it, like like reimagine it. Like, I like that. And there's other, again, we'll get into like other like they have Clint Eastwood in the second movie, like getting shot with he has a steel plate. And I love that. I just gotta get it. I love that. Doc shot in the first movie, but he has a steel plate, and then the last movie Marty gets shot, but he has a steel plate, and in between you have the scene of Clint Eastwood. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, it's Clint Eastwood.
It is Clint Eastwood. Yeah, because that scene is from
his Western films.
Fistful of Dollars.
He has a plate. Yeah. So I love all three movies. Like they end up doing it. But in the middle one they have the original source material, and they do a lot of that.
Yeah, definitely. But even stuff like when you have characters talking at the beginning, so like Marty is late for school, and he gets picked up by Strickland, and Strickland's like, you know, chewing him out, and he's going like, oh, no McFly has ever achieved anything in the history of Hill Valley. He's just like, your father was also a slacker, you know. And then you have like the scene where he's playing at the auditions, and Huey Lewis is there judging them. That I remember being a kid being like, who is that? And my dad's just like, oh, that's literally Huey Lewis from Huey Lewis and the News, who sings the songs in the movie. I'm like, wow.
And I'm really curious of that. Like, is the idea that in universe Marty wrote that song, or does that song, or no, it does exist in universe, because in the third movie, they're when he's the guy, when was it
Needles?
It's not Needles. Yeah, Needles is playing the song in his car. So so Marty's band is doing a cover of it.
Yeah, he's doing a cover of it.
Yeah,
but I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
Yeah.
And then
But I completely forgot that scene was even in the movie. Like,
Right.
until I watched it like earlier this year.
Yeah, it is kind of like
interesting.
it's kind of like not really important to the story, but like it's to show that
Mhm.
like, oh, Marty can play guitar. And that's
Yeah,
gonna
and it does give it gives it sets it up, and also like I think it's an underrated arc that Marty has. Is like, yeah, he's like he shares it with his father. Like they say the same thing. I don't think I could handle that kind of rejection.
Yeah, because he's talking to Jennifer during that scene, like that scene when they're by the clock tower, and like he and Jennifer are having that conversation. Yeah, he's like talking about like how I can't handle that kind of rejection, establishing that. You see the lady in the background being like, "Save the clock tower." You see the car driving by that says like, "Re-elect Mayor Goldie Wilson." All of these things are subtly setting up seeds. So then they're going to play on later.
Purposeful.
Oh, it's so good.
Every line is so purposeful.
I love that. Yeah, because the lady comes up to them just like, save the clock tower. And then she's like explaining like, oh, 30 years ago, that clock tower got struck by lightning. And you think, oh, whatever, lady. No, that's important, vital information. And then like she gives them the flyer. And you think, oh, they just gave him the flyer. That doesn't mean anything. No, then Jennifer's going to fucking write her number on the flyer. And again, that flyer is going to come into play later. Like, it's so good.
It's the reason why he holds on to it. Like,
yeah.
And it's the movies because they make you experts just as much as like, because like they hammer in like all these important, like every line is important. They like stuff gets repeated. So like, okay, yeah, we all know that was the date that the clock, when Biff is like, oh yeah, I went back to, or yeah, I know the date that, I can't remember. He's saying like, yeah, I got hit the manure, or like, yeah, he got the almanac. Is it was whatever date in 1955.
Yeah. That's the second movie.
That's the date that the famous lightning, the thunderstorm hit the clock tower.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, but like even during that,
just like Marty's like a stand-in for the audience because we all know the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But I even love like when they have like sit down for family dinner and it's like we're establishing who's who. We got Marty's the youngest child. He has his older brother Dave, his sister Janine, I think. I forget the sister's name. But like we're establishing that that his parents are still there. His dad is a kind of a Melvin where he's just like has the nerd glasses and he has like the dorky laugh where he goes and he can't stand up for himself to Biff, who's like even as an adult still bullying him. His mother's now an alcoholic who's just like
wild.
Uncle Gilbert Joey.
Liquor at the table.
Yeah,
and like preaching morals.
Preaching morals. Just like I don't like this Jennifer. When I was a child, I never parked cars with boys. It's like,
we'll get into that.
Even the TV when they're like, because they're watching TV at dinner, like even the TV's playing something that's going to like that's going to be important later on because what is it? It's like the Jackie Gleason show or something like that. Linda's the name of the daughter. Sorry, side thing. But then in that scene they're explaining like that was so she's talking about how much she doesn't like Jennifer and she's just like this that and it's like well how do you expect I love that because Marty never says a word in this scene and so it's like Linda and Lorraine are talking. And Linda's just like, well, how is he like supposed to find somebody? And she's like, well, just like how I met your father. And Linda's like, that was so stupid. Grandpa hit him with the car. And then like it goes into the whole thing of like, oh, we met during Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Again, things that are going to be important, but you just think, it's just random conversations.
Yeah. Sometimes they get a little heavy. Again, like there's sometimes like it's a little like they're I'm blanking on the word
heavy-handed or
no like dialogue that like is telling like too much like background
exposition
it gets a little exposition-y. I think like more in the
little expository movies. It can
but like usually like a scene like that is like a great example of where like this is normal conversation,
right?
An example of where it is a little exposition is like Strickland, like, oh yeah, you're a slacker. Like this, like feels more, and then he starts talking. Your father was a slacker. And there's like,
no McFly has ever achieved anything in the history of.
Like, okay, we're getting the point. You're getting a little long-winded here.
Sure, yeah. I guess you could say like, oh, that's
that
just
could be a little ecstasy, but
that's just like
and that's where I think
the ravings of an old man, but like, yeah, I agree.
Guess, yeah.
It can be a
That's
little
where
much.
it gets a little more into the
Sure.
like again, like more into the camp, but like
Yes.
a lot of the time it hits really well, and like you
Yes.
don't like it just seems like good writing and not like this is actually like normal conversation and very purposeful.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, so then again, we've done all this establishing. Now let's get into the time machine, because then that's when the movie gets into the time machine. They've established everything. And so then Marty goes to his good friend Doc Brown, who's invented a time machine out of a DeLorean. And that's what we came to see, the DeLorean time machine. You're just like, ooh, this is mysterious. I love the way it enters into the scene. It comes out of like his giant van, and there's like smoke everywhere. It's like, it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I guess I'll take this opportunity. I love the I guess I don't know if it's Zemeckis or whoever has very good taste in cars. I love like the DeLorean's iconic. It didn't sell well, it's hard to find. They're made here. My home state of Ohio is where they're manufactured.
No kidding.
I still see a couple of them. Yeah, still see them floating around occasionally around here. But yeah, they got the Toyota truck. Marty's got very good taste in that truck he's gonna end up getting at the end of the movie. You see him like he's really ogling it at the beginning of the movie, and then by the end of the movie, his the version of himself in this new timeline already has one.
Yeah,
that's kind of
it's really funny. Yeah, DeLoreans are notoriously like horrible cars, like that's why they didn't sell well, and which is funny because like
they're cool, but they didn't sell well and they don't run well.
Because they didn't run well, and like I think the only reason we still know about them today is because of this movie. Like like DeLoreans, I mean we'd probably be looking at them because they have like the cool like top opening doors, and we'd think like, oh, they look cool, but like they wouldn't be nearly as remembered if not for this movie.
Yeah, and the movie makes sure it's a DeLorean. Like I obviously know it was a weird car, but also this is a car that you could buy from a car lot. This was a like normally manufactured car. Like obviously like there wasn't a like the time machine stuff in the back and the modifications in the front in like the later films weren't there, but yeah, it's like you can buy that car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it is just like it. Yeah, like it is a kind of a cool looking car. So you think like, oh yeah, you just make it a time machine.
I also in the while we're talking about cars, I also like in the second movie there's a one of the flying cars is just like a super modified Fox body Mustang from the 80s, which I'm a big Fox body fan. So.
Okay.
Yeah. And like they're still around today. But yeah, it doesn't fit in with like the futuristic cars they had, like the Cybertruck ass cars they got in 2015.
Yeah.
But yeah, then there's like some 80s cars that are just super modified, like the DeLorean. So the DeLorean doesn't even stick out entirely.
Right. Yeah.
Technically speaking.
I mean, it sticks out when he goes back to 1955. I will say
a little bit.
I will say like that scene where he's just like, oh, here's an interesting date in history, because like when he's explaining like the time circuits to Marty, he's just like, you can go back to this date, like the signing of the Declaration of Independence or the birth of Christ. I like that. It's like December 25th, 0000. Like that I always thought that was really funny. And then he says like, hey,
won't work.
And here's an interesting date, November 5th, 1955, like when he came up with the flux capacitor. It's like, oh, okay. But I mean, again, it's to establish that he's about to go back in time, because he puts in the date, and then when he's like, before he can even go into the future like he wants to, that's when the Libyans arrive.
The Libyans.
I don't know how, but they found
me. They found me. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I also I do like, I want to, because I'm a big camera guy, I gotta shout out the VC, the camcorder that Marty has. Like that was a big deal also, like at that time, like, and that's gonna come back, like that's everything's purposeful, like the camcorder, like once they go into like the past and he's able to show like past Doc, like, oh yeah, it's like you have a television studio, like I can't remember what exactly.
No, I always like
it's like palm of your hand, like you got a television studio.
Yeah.
And that was a new, like that was new technology, like consumer, like a handheld, like a one-piece camcorder consumer for consumers was like a brand new tech at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love camcorders. I think it's awesome. I like the big old bulky ones. Like they're not super practical, but they're neat.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, like Doc's able, like, oh yeah, like him like geeking out over it in the 50s, like wow.
Yeah.
Or like I just think that's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, he goes back in time because he's running away from the Libyans, and he ends up back in 1955. And I like the little subtle ways it shows that like, oh, we're different. So like, you know, they're doing this experiment at the Twin Pine malls, and Doc had even said like, oh, I remember when this was all farmland, you know, and then he goes back to the time when it is farmland and it's owned by Old Man Peabody. And then he like drives away and he drives away all the way to where he thinks his neighborhood is. And guess what? It's not built yet. Lyon Estates.
Yeah.
Great.
Which is going to be a recurring trend of, you know, new housing developments.
Yeah.
The progression of the housing developments.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's true. Like that plays a part into the trilogy. And of course, you know, the iconic scene where he's going through the center of town and everything's, you know, 50s. It's, you know, they're playing Mr. Sandman. He's looking around. He sees like the movies advertising a new movie with Ronald Reagan, the actor. You know, Texaco, you have the people in the Texaco suits. You see the kid with like the springy, like, jumping boots, which are like old school. Everyone's dressed in like fedoras and long trench coats. And he sees a newspaper and it says like, you know, November 5th, 1955. And he's just like, what the hell?
Yeah. And then he's going to, he comes back in the second movie. He's going to wear like, the leather jackets and the fedora and sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. I love then the scene when he goes into the what is it, like the diner or bar or something like that. Like
the diner.
Yeah, the corner diner. And I always like this part where like he goes in and he's like trying to order something, and it's 1950s, so it's even vastly different. So like he's able to be like, give me a tab. Oh, tab hasn't been invented yet. All right, give me a Pepsi free. And he's just like, okay, we know what Pepsi is, but the kind of Pepsi he's explaining again hasn't been invented yet. And I just like that, like the different connections he can try and make in 1955, and it's hard for him because, you know, things are vastly different in the 50s than they are from the 80s.
He'd have a hard time getting a tab or a Pepsi free in 2015 too.
Right, or in 2025.
It's funny. And like they repeat that scene in the next two, like they kind of they're able to like they make these iconic scenes and they're just able to like revisit them again. Like, you're gonna do it in the future and you do it in like the distant past, and like he kind of learns, but it gets more difficult. I think he just gets a Pepsi in the second movie.
Yeah,
he just wants a Pepsi.
He just wants a Pepsi in it, but it's like in a weird futuristic glass.
Yeah.
And then they haven't invented Pepsi in 1885, so he just gets whiskey. Yeah.
Ice water.
Yeah, ice water. And they're just like, the fuck?
The Doc invented ice.
Oh, yeah.
Refrigerator. I guess I can...
Yeah. But yeah, and then of course, again, he's in this diner, which just so happens to also have the young version of his father. And I love that, you know, just like the way they're just sitting, and then like when young Biff breaks in, he's just like, "Hey, McFly," and they both turn around at the same time. Iconic shot.
Yeah. It almost like, because like by the second and third movie, you're just kind of used to it. Like like there's like it's three movies isn't like that much these days, perhaps, but yeah, again they like replay the same bits that you just like used to. You don't really get to appreciate, like you're saying, like that is a great shot when because we don't realize that his dad's there, and this is we're in the first movie. We're not to the point where every family member of the McFlys is played by Michael Fox. Michael J. Fox. But yeah, so that's like it's a great shot out. Yeah, they're both turning around at the same time, and then Marty has realized, oh shoot.
Oh, he wasn't talking about me. He was talking about about my dad, who's the same age as me right now.
And he has his facial reactions to all this is great too. Like he goes through some crazy stuff, and he's able to like, he's not like, it's not over the top, but it's like he is in like disbelief.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox, I think he is Marty McFly. Like, you know, the famous story is that he was they always wanted Michael J. Fox for the role. He was having some scheduling conflicts with, you know, because he was filming some show. I think it was Family Ties was the show he was on in the 80s.
I think so, yeah.
And so they're like, all right, we'll go with Eric Stoltz. And they were like 5 weeks into filming, and they're like, this is not working. Like, you know,
Yeah.
Eric Stoltz, I like as an actor. I've liked him in stuff that I've seen him in. But yeah, I've seen like behind the scenes of him trying to recapture the same like wide-eyed like bafflement that Michael J. Fox does, and it's just not the same. It's weird.
Yeah.
So luckily they were just like, no, we need Michael J. Fox. And again, they made the right decision. Now it was kind of took a toll on Fox because not only was he filming Family Ties during the week, famously, then he had to film Back to the Future over the weekends. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. But honestly, it was worth it in the long run because I can't imagine Marty McFly being played by anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Also, another little tidbit we're talking about recasting is that they had to recast Jennifer because they didn't like she was taller than Michael J. Fox. They didn't like how it looked.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's why she didn't come back. I thought it was like scheduling conflicts why the original actress didn't come back.
Yeah, I from what I've watched, it was like a lot of it was she's just taller than Michael J. Fox, and then like how like the power dynamic with that. I mean, like. Movies are a visual story medium, like that kind of stuff is kind of important.
Sure, yeah, I get it, but then it's why'd you hire her in the first place then?
But,
like,
I don't know, maybe she was shorter than Eric Stoltz. I don't know how tall Eric Stoltz is.
That's a good point, actually. That's a good point. Yeah, maybe it had to do with. And
maybe they might not have been bothered by it at first. Like, oh yeah,
right. But then it's like
actually filming it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think about it. Yeah, like I'm a very tall person. Like you don't like. I think a lot of people don't like realize that like the impacts of like how tall. It's why like people like Tom Cruise like works so well as an actor. They're like short people. Yeah, like Tom Cruise is like 5'7" or something or 5'8".
Yeah,
but like he fits great. He fits great on like a CinemaScope aspect ratio. He fits like it's your shorter people just fit really well on the screen.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have to tell you. Like, I don't fit great on a camera. On a cinema aspect ratio.
Yeah, that's why this is not a visual podcast. Like we're tall people.
Yeah,
like, this is audio only.
I mean, you really only need shoulders up in a podcast.
Sure, but still.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just another little casting tidbit I found interesting.
Yeah. With that said, because we don't have to go like scene by scene with Back to the Future. I was wondering, like, since we talked about J. Fox, let's talk about Lloyd. You know, because he's the other big actor in this trilogy, and that is Doc Brown. Marty, we gotta go back. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd is Doc Brown. Like, again, I can't imagine anybody else playing this part. I don't know. I don't even know if they had like other people in mind. I can't even remember if they had other people in mind, but if they did, not even close. Like, it has to be Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
No, I like how he's able to, like, you know, because he's been an old man my entire life. You know, as a kid, I'm just like, oh, how did they do that? The fact that he's just like really old, but like also really young. But it's because, you know, he was really young. He was only like in his 40s when he was filming this movie.
Yeah.
But like, he just looked.
Given the makeup.
Yeah, the makeup is so good that he looks like an old man. That it fooled me.
And I mean, like, he kind of looks like an old man in his 40s, to be fair.
Yeah,
like, his skin's like pretty clear, but you know, he's got the hair, like,
right,
you can believe it because of the hair.
The hair,
like, it helps a lot.
Yeah, and but like, again, but not only is the makeup really good, the performance is really good. Like, he's this wide-eyed, buggy-eyed scientist, you know, like, just thinking about him, like, he embodies like mad scientist vibes, but not in the way where he's like evil mad scientist, just crazy kooky dude. But like undeniably brilliant.
Yeah, like you mentioned, like, he's not evil. I feel like it's one of like the few times when he's not playing a like they let him be like good natured.
Yeah, like, that's true, because like when it comes to Zemeckis movies, he has played villains because he's, you know, famously Judge Doom and Roger Rabbit. So
yeah, it's definitely like the other iconic role I think of. Yeah, he's very evil. Like, and he plays a great villain too. But it's nice that he gets to be a good guy in this too. Yeah, he's just fun. He's fun. He's good nature. Yeah, he's like not like he's kind of crazy. He's kind of not well adjusted, but
Well,
yeah, he's like charming in that way.
Yeah, he has a lot to balance as this character because not only does he have to be incredibly smart, but he has to be the one to kind of explain time travel to us plebeians in the audience that can't even comprehend how time travel works. Now, one, time travel is very much impossible. Like, it will never happen. If it were to happen, we would have seen it happen already. It's never going to happen. But in the world of fantasy, you can do whatever you want. And so, yeah, but there is a lot of confusion when it comes to time travel, and it's going to get even more complicated as the movies go on.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're able to still, like, even as a kid, I was never lost. Like, it was a lot whenever I'd watch these movies, but I was never lost with what was happening. Like, everything was explained in a way that made sense to me as a kid.
It
like,
was enough sense.
Right. It made enough sense. Yeah. The older I've gotten, the more I've been able to poke holes and be like, maybe the time travel logic in this movie kind of sucks and it's not that great. But I think because it's explained in a way that's it's done so in a way that it's enough for me to still follow along. So, like, the story still makes sense. You know, whether the time travel logic makes sense or not doesn't really matter because the story makes sense and the characters are so likable that, like, you know, you're not really thinking about the logical, like, the logical fallacies that is time travel.
Yeah. And it's kind of an exposition. He's explaining how it works, but he has that manic energy. It just like makes it entertaining. Like he's just going crazy while like he's delivering it like this character normally would, but it's just like this is just like a funny character to watch, and like the manic energy as it's presenting it makes it entertaining to listen to as he's telling him. Like he pulls up like a whiteboard, and that's like I feel like how like been like redone in like every time travel movie after this when they have to explain it. They just pull up a whiteboard like Doc Brown did.
Like, well, because I like
I got a history lesson on how this is working.
Yeah, I like in this movie, like, he has to explain, like, 1.21 gigawatts, like, we don't have any plutonium.
1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, what the hell is a gigawatt? Like, okay, how the hell are you going to get Marty back to 1985? Like, he's kind of stranded. Even though he's invented the thing, it's like, I don't know how this thing is going to work because, you know, I don't know. So then, you know, we start bringing back things that played a part in the beginning. Oh, Doc, but I have to get back to 1985. Like, you know, we don't have plutonium, but I got to get back. Like, I have Jennifer. Like, she, you know, she loves me. I love her. And like, look at this. She wrote on this flyer that's saying save the clock tower, her phone number. That's how much she loves me. And then it's like, oh, but the only thing that can generate 1.21 gigawatts is a bolt of lightning. It's like, hey, wait a minute. We know exactly when a bolt of lightning is going to strike. Famously, the clock tower in the center of town got struck by lightning at exactly 10:04 p.m. on Saturday, November 12th, 1955. So he's like, wait a minute. We can harness the energy. We can harness the energy from the lightning bolt to strike the time machine and get him straight back to 1985. It's like, okay, great. Again, it's explained in a way that makes sense, where I'm just like, yes, that's exactly what we have to do. But there's a problem. Throughout the day that Marty has been there in 1955, he has inadvertently caused himself to not be born because he's gotten his parents to not meet each other. So it's like, well, now I got to make sure my parents meet so I am actually born in the future. So yeah, that's the other thing that kind of like, it's great. You know, you have multiple things going on. It can, if a lesser script was written, it would feel like way too much. Like, I feel like a lot of movies will put too much tension in their movie where it's just like, oh, we got to have this, we got to have this, we got to have this. Like, as if it's like one thing can't be enough. But I feel like as long as you have, you know, the characters invested in the conflict, and, you know, you like seeing these characters in this conflict, you know, I don't think it matters. So I'm glad that he has to deal with trying to get his parents back together. Because, you know, that's an impossible thing to do. Like, how do I get my parents to be with each other without revealing who I really am? Especially when my mom has a crush on me. It's like, uh-oh. Just like,
uh-oh, oops.
Yeah. Whoopsie daisy. Like, yeah, like, one of the worst possible situations you could be in.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh, yeah. So like that, and it again, the characters are so likable. I love George McFly and how much of a Melvin he is. I like Lorraine and how much of like a hard-eyed teenager she's acting, even though, you know, Lorraine at the beginning was like, oh, I never did those things. It's like, no, you did, like, because everybody was young at one point.
She didn't, because she fell for George McFly. I think there's definitely like she kind of settled, and therefore like I think that's the idea, is that okay, she settled, and so she never
did that kind
like
of stuff.
never had like felt motivated to do that kind of stuff,
right?
She just felt sorry, like, yeah, she basically, I think they say straight, oh yeah, she felt sorry for George. And
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of it in the sense of like, oh, she's just an adult, she doesn't really remember what it was like to be a teenager, and it's like, oh, but you did do that. It's just like adult hypocrisy.
Which is also, like, you could look at it either way,
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But you're also right in saying, like, okay, she settled down with George, so she never got to experience that, whereas in this timeline she did, because she never felt bad for George. Where she's like feeling bad for Marty because Marty was the one who got hit by the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's why we also see her, like, you know, she's like a lot more like cool. I'll say cool. She's not an alcoholic. She's like more chill and like understanding.
Right.
And she's like out having, like, going and doing stuff with George and whatnot. Like, they're both a lot more.
Definitely a lot more, like, happy.
Young. Yeah, happy and young.
Yeah. So again, like just watching these characters. So like, and again, like it's really interesting that, like, you know, this is seen as like such a fun adventure film, and yet again, we're staying in the same town. We have these characters. Essentially, this is kind of like a high school drama throughout the middle chunk, where it's just like, oh, I got to figure out how to get these two to ask each other out for the dance. Like, again, kind of lame, but in execution, it's great. It's thrilling. It's exhilarating. And again, because then, you know, there's that scene where, like, oh, he tries to get George to ask Lorraine out to the dance, and then it devolves into Biff kind of poking fun at him, and then it turns into, oh, now it's the iconic chase scene where he like invents the skateboard and he's being chased by Biff, and then Biff and his cronies hit the manure truck while screaming shit. Like, yeah.
Which again, it gets repeated again in the at least the next film. I don't think it's in 3. There's not really.
I mean, he gets Mad Dog like falls into the cart of shit. If that counts.
Yeah, he gets like punched into it. So yeah, the manure is still there. There's no like skateboard or anything. I guess if you didn't, like, if you invented in the 1880s and you didn't really invent it in the 1950s.
Right, exactly. Whereas like,
not really scooters.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun, that chase scene, you know, because it's just I love that, because then it again foils. It just makes Lorraine fall in love with Marty even more. She's just like, God damn it.
Absolute dream.
Yeah, he's an absolute dream. Great. Yeah, great moment. Oh, I got to shout out the chocolate milk scene where, like, George is going up to her and he's like getting all the confidence. He goes up to the bar. He's just like, Lou, give me a milk. Chocolate. Like, I quote that all the time. It's so
I'll
good.
Take a milk in a dirty glass.
Yeah.
Different reference.
Yeah, no. But yeah, we might as well get into the third act, I'd say. Not the climax specifically, but the third act, like with the dance. Because, like, oh mama, how exhilarating is the third act of this movie? It's so good.
Oh yeah. Yes, there's again, the tension's building because you have so much going on. It's, you know, I'm going to reference another, like, George Lucas, when he made Phantom Menace, is like, oh yeah, we're gonna have like what is it, 4 different like action sets? Pieces?
Yeah, it was like 4.
It's like, oh, we put 3 in Return of the Jedi and that works, so we're gonna put 4. I think it's not just that there's so much going on, like there is so much going on, but again, like the tension, the build up, there is so much at stake. Like, Marty is going to disappear if they don't fall in love, and also like, yeah, he also needs to, like, the time machine. He needs to make it back in time to the time machine before the lightning strikes. Doc has to get everything set up. So, like, again, they're like very directly correlated. And yeah, if one thing doesn't work, it all falls apart. It's not like, okay, like there's no half victories here. I guess, yeah, there's no half victories here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Marty is very screwed if like anything goes on, and like stuff like, you know, you have the moment where, okay, like, George is like, you know, has punched Biff and they're together, and then he like, for a brief moment, like lets Lorraine get stolen. And okay,
Scram McFly.
oh no, Marty's disappearing again, and like the music's fading, and he can't play anymore. But yeah, it's and there's like, everything is very meaningful. Everything is very tense, and yeah, like George punching Biff is like a great, like, it's not what you expect. Again, they already, like, Marty and George already planned out what was going to happen, and that fell through. Like, the number of things that like go, yeah, like Doc is having issues with the clock tower, like the cord isn't long enough,
or like a tree falls on it,
yeah, Marty gets taken out by Biff. So yeah, it's like George is caught off guard, but yeah, like he ends up like, they don't have to fake it. I think that's what, but okay, we're gonna fake it to make it work, and in reality, like, it works out better than you could have imagined.
Right? Yeah, you said the word correlating, like there's correlation between everything happening in the climax, and you're right. Like, that's a very huge part of it. Like, nothing just happens on accident or just happens randomly, because like it's all correlated. Like, yeah, so Marty, you know, has to deal with the fact that his mom still has a crush on him, and so he has to suffer through his mom kissing him on the lips, which one of the most uncomfortable scenes I've ever seen in my life. Like 10-year-old me, like 10 or 12-year-old me watching that scene, just being like, oh no, like the worst.
My brother.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, like it's a horrifying scene, but it's made funnier because then Lorraine has to be the one to realize, like, I don't know, just kissing you, it's like I'm kissing my brother. It's like, that's funny, but like, it's good because then it like it solves that problem. So now there's no longer this crush between her and Marty. It's like, great moment. And then immediately Biff comes into play, because you think like, oh, it's George faking it, but then no, it's actually Biff who's like furious at Marty, because he's like, you cost $300 damage to my car, you son of a bitch. It's like, now he's like genuinely mad. He takes advantage of Lorraine. Like, it's this whole like thing, like, oh, everything's falling apart. He gets locked in the band member's car, and this is like, the hell are you doing to my car? Who you calling Spook? Peckerwood? I can't believe I screwed that up. Peckerwood. It's hilarious word for white people. Peckerwood.
Bring that one back.
Yeah, please bring back Peckerwood. It's hilarious. But anyway, but then George comes into play, and he's like, he has to, not only does he have to save Lorraine, he has to face his fears and finally stand up to Biff. So then Biff doesn't like keep bullying him anymore. So then he's able to be like, no, Biff, like, you leave her alone. And then, the punch. Oh, so satisfying. The punch punches Biff right in the kisser. Which then leads into, the iconic Earth Angel scene. It was like, oh, trying to get Marty out of the back of the band member's car, the guitarist slices his hand. It's like, hey man, we can't play. Someone has to play guitar. And then he starts playing guitar up there. And then, he can't control, he has to play guitar up there. So then there's that one redhead kid who's just like, scram McFly, I'm cutting in. And so then George has to stand up again. But again, because he stood up to Biff, he's just like, hey, wait a minute, I can do this myself. And then they kiss each other. And I like that. Like, it's a very simple way of showing that, like, oh, Marty will make it out okay. Like, because really thinking about it, it's like, oh, they kiss. That doesn't really mean they're married and they're gonna have kids. But I feel like that's a good subtle way of showing, like, no, everything will be okay, because like, once they kiss each other, then Marty like goes back up. He starts like strumming the guitar. He's like, I can play the guitar again. He looks at the photo. All him and his siblings come back into the picture. So it's like, okay, like, that's your way of telling that like everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. I think it's also nice too, just like, again, like, to that like audition, like earlier on when it's setting up like him being a player, that like he does like have these like insecurities about like his ability to play, and like he really wants to like play in front of the people, but he feel like doesn't get the chance. He doesn't know if he'd be good. But yeah, he's able to go up there and like get like listen. You're looking for that new sound. You're looking for. Listen to this. Like everyone like he gets all like the praise that he was
Yeah.
he goes up, he does it, and yeah, it goes well, and then it kind of gets a little too loud, a little too crazy. But...
Yeah, Johnny Be Good. Oh, such a funny scene. Again, it's a funny scene because he's playing a song that doesn't exist yet to these people. And then he goes too far by just like really going hardcore with the 80s, like basically doing what Eddie Van Halen would do in any Van Halen song, just like rip the guitar.
Those poor guys, he probably broke their amp.
Yeah, because it can't handle it. I just love how
that's too loud. That was too loud. He just kicks it over.
Yeah, and I just love like the subtlety of like the harder he's going, everyone, like even the band members are just like, what the fuck? Like the saxophonist's face is ingrained in my mind, just the way he's looking at Marty, just being like, what the fuck is he doing? It's like, and then the iconic, guess you guys weren't ready for that, but your kids are gonna love it.
And she's like that. It's like, ooh, I've like earlier in the film, like, I've seen this one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we didn't even mention that.
Reruns.
Yeah, like we said, when they were watching the Jackie Gleason show at the very beginning, they were watching a rerun. But then when he goes back in time and he's at the dinner table with Lorraine's family, they're watching that.
What are reruns?
Yeah. I love that. Hey, I've seen this one.
It's a rerun.
What do you mean you've seen it? It's brand new. He's like, yeah, I saw it on a rerun. Yeah, great moment. And then so again, like he's gotten his parents together, he's going to be born, Biff has been taken care of, now he's got to get the fuck out of here. So then he's got to go, and he's got to like go through the time machine, and again, the most tense I've ever been watching a movie. And again, how many times have I seen this movie? A million and one. Like I've seen this movie so many fucking times. And the fact that I'm still on the edge of my seat during the scene when like, Doc has to plug the rope back into the clock tower so then it can like be struck by lightning, and like, the DeLorean won't start. Oh, I found this letter you left for me, Marty. I don't want to know my future, because even though Marty's trying to warn him, hey, you get shot to death by the Libyans. It's like all of this stuff is going on. You're just like, fuck, dude, just. But I wouldn't want it any other way. Like I am on the edge of my seat every time because it's so good. Because it's so good at really delivering that tension. Even though I know he makes it back to 1985. They had 2 more movies. Clearly he made it. But, it's still...
Yeah, he'll be in his 30s in 1985 is the other...
Right, exactly.
1985, but he's like 40 years old at that point.
Yeah. So that's why, like, I love this movie so much. The fact that I can watch it a million times and still be on the edge of my seat, still be in awe at the tension, still just being like, is he going to make it? Even though I know full well he makes it. I've seen it happen a million times.
A million times, 2 or 3 since they re-show it in the other films.
Of course. Yeah, that's true. You gotta take that into account.
It's perfectly edited. Like the tightness of it, the lightning strike. Doc is like plugging them together, and he gets blown blown back by the shock, but it passes through. It catches the hook on the DeLorean. DeLorean vanishes. Fire trails. Doc runs through between the fire trails. Screams. What?
Yeah, and again, the not only is it filmed and edited perfectly, the music adds so much. Alvin Silvestri's score is one of my favorite movie scores ever. It's so good. So good. Like I have the music stuck in my head all week because I've been, watching these movies, and I've never gotten tired of the theme. It's so catchy, and it's also just so good. Like even the subtler moments. I just think this score, this soundtrack is just one of the best ever put to film.
Yeah, I guess like with the fact that as soon as the DeLorean vanishes and you just have where Doc's just running through, it's been like foot to the throttle, like this, like I don't know how long in the movie at this point, like very intense, and then and a flash, the DeLorean's gone, mission successful. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just like quiet and
Yeah.
like yeah, like that, just like sigh of relief,
Oh
like
yeah.
you like breathe out, like it's just so satisfactory that moment, and yeah,
Yeah.
like um, but yeah, like you're saying, like yeah, the music you got Huey Lewis and the Moose, like we were talking about earlier, like ZZ Top in the later film, like yeah, they got a lot of good music.
Oh yeah, such good music. Yeah. I did want to ask. So now that we're at the ending, how do we feel
Mhm.
about the very ending? Because he goes back to 1985, but there's little things different about 1985, and you think, okay,
Mhm.
like, I get it. The hero's journey. You end up back where you started, but like a little different, and so like there's subtle
Yeah.
changes. Biff isn't as much of a bully towards George. George is a lot more confident as a man. Lorraine's not as depressed. They live in a much nicer house. Instead of the Twin Pine Malls, it's the Lone Pine Mall. Um,
Yeah.
Doc actually survives getting shot by the Libyans because he has a bulletproof vest. Um,
Mhm.
but it's like, famously, Crispin Glover didn't come back for the sequels because he hated the ending. Because, the ending kind of implies, oh, they're a lot more well off now. They're richer. So it's like, it's kind of subtly implying, oh, if you're rich, you're happy. And it's like, yeah, I guess you
Mhm.
could read it that way. But like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really
Like
read that
I
much
think
into
that's
it.
a benefit of like okay, their quality of life, and like yeah, like George doesn't like was able to pursue his passions,
Mm-hmm.
and like is like
Yes.
talented in this, and is able to like yeah, like okay, like he's doing something he loves, and also he's getting paid well for it. Like
Yeah.
yeah, they're like still in the same house,
Right.
like
Yeah.
it's not like yeah, it's like huge differences, and yeah, like okay, there's like taking time away for each other. It's not like okay, like we're just like oh yeah, we're gonna go to the mall and buy like a new I don't know, like a gold watch or whatever. Now we're gonna go on like a little, was it vacation or a treat? I can't remember what's
I
name,
don't
but
know. But like,
uh,
yeah, I
like
will.
they're spending time with each other. It's like it's human
Yes.
benefits, but also Marty does have a nice car. But like
Right.
yeah, it's not like
Yeah. I
night
don't.
and
I,
day.
I don't think it's very much explicit. Like, oh, if you're rich, you live a happy life, and if you're not rich, you don't live a
Mhm.
happy life. I will say it is
Yeah.
weird because, I mean, realistically speaking, this is not his original timeline. So technically, the people he once knew as his family don't exist anymore. Like, these are completely
Yeah.
different people. If we really want to go that way philosophically, then it's like, wow, that's kind of
Mhm.
miserable and depressing. But like, yeah, do we really want to read
That's
that
valid. Yeah.
that far into the movie? No.
I guess he apparently he's not too different because he's still Jennifer. It
He's
seems
still with
like their
Jennifer. Yeah,
relationship
yeah,
is
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Um
But
yes,
again, like that's like okay, we're reading into it. Is like, does that really make sense? Like, to I don't
right.
care too much. Like,
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like the time travel logic in these movies can feel a little weird where it's just like, all right, like this doesn't make that much sense. But the story makes sense. Like again, we've learned
mhm.
these characters have learned to better themselves, and I think that makes more sense, or like that's the more important aspect. Like the narrative making more sense than the logic part.
Yeah.
So like from a character standpoint, I think this is like very, very strong. And so that even though this is often celebrated as one of the greatest time travel stories ever, it's like the time travel logic does not make sense, but the
Yeah.
characters and the story is so strong
Like
that
it's
it ultimately doesn't
a
matter.
yeah. It's a key component to the movie, but it's not about the time travel per se. Like it's
Right.
not about like how it works.
Hmm.
It's just like that's just like I'm really doing really bad with like terminology today.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just like it allows the story to exist. Like
Yeah.
it's not yeah, we're not like watching Doc invent time travel. We're just
Right.
like okay, like the story exists because of the time travel. Like we're in the aftermath of it, and yeah, like we're not going to like we like the consequences of the time travel are important for the story,
Hmm.
but that's not we're not really investigating why those consequences exist. We're
Right.
just like
Yeah.
watching like the like okay, problem solution, like how
Yeah.
we're gonna fix this.
Yeah. I like sometimes
And
when a
it's
time.
it's very human, like it's relational solutions to a lot of these
Sure.
like yeah, like and like yeah, like fairly straightforward. Okay, like lightning is like a simple concept. Okay, like we need energy. Lightning is energy. It will create that energy. Like
Yeah.
we're not like like, you don't have to fix the time machine. We just need to get a power source.
Right. Yeah. I will say, if the time travel is usually, if it's illogical in a story, like, I will only really complain if the characters in the story isn't good enough to kind of block out like the logical inconsistencies. That's why, like, I love Back to the Future. I love these characters even more than I love the time travel logic. Other movies like, Endgame and Looper are kind of iffy on the time travel, where I'm just like, but also the character's a little iffy. I will say, if you want a consistent time travel story with consistent characters, watch 12 Monkeys. Like, 12 Monkeys is fucking phenomenal, from not only from a character standpoint, but from a time travel standpoint. It's like, oh no, they do exactly everything right.
At 12 Angry Monkeys.
12 Angry Monkeys.
The 12 Angry Men crossover.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be awesome. 12 Angry Monkeys. I would watch that. That'd be awesome.
A very grounded courtroom drama crossover time travel story.
12 Angry Monkeys. Hell yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Well, is there anything we have to say about this first one? Like, anything else we have to say about this first one before we move on to the second one?
Well, I'll just say, since we're at the end of one of the movies, I'm gonna say I feel like this is kind of like Marvel movies before Marvel movies. The way that they set up like the sequel, like they're like, that confident. Okay, we're gonna like. It's not an end credit scene, but it's very much part of the story. But it ends on a cliffhanger. Like, again, that's where I go. Like, it's like the Saturday morning serials. Like, it ends with a cliffhanger. It's not like there's a closed story, but also, like, if you watch the full movie, like, before you get to the credits, there's like a very much cliffhanger. They're going to the future now.
Right. I have heard, I think the original, they didn't really intend to make a sequel. They just made it as a joke. They're just like, oh, we got to go to the future. It's your kids, Marty.
That's
but
I think that'd be fun in its own right. But
right. Yeah.
Like, we live in a universe where, okay, they did make a sequel and they did play off that.
Right. But like you said, even if they never made 2 and 3 and they just had the one movie, there's still a complete story here that, like, the ending can be foreseen as a joke, where it's just like, the adventure continues, but we don't really see that happening. But, like, there's still a complete story of, Marty went back in time, went on this adventure, and now he's back in 1985, and that's it. You don't need anything more. I will say I'm glad they made 2 and 3, because I love 2 and 3. But had they not made 2 and 3, I think I'd still love this movie a lot as, like, one of my favorite movies ever made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't have anything to add on the end, did you?
No, so we can go right into 2. Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh yeah, we forgot. Like, I am Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan. I gotta mention that.
My name is Darth Vader.
On that planet. Like, I love the creativity that he uses the hazmat suit. Like, that's like, again, like, everything is important. Like, the fact they had the hazmat suits in the car, and like he's able to use that, and like George is into sci-fi, so like, it just works.
Yeah.
Like, that's another just a really good example, and it's a funny. It's pop culture references, but
there's a reason for it. Yeah,
they're good. They're good pop culture references, and they don't know. Like, it exists in their universe too. Like, he knows he's making pop culture referres.
Yeah, exactly.
But exactly. George doesn't, because like they don't exist yet. It's not like it's not like a different canons. It's just they haven't been made yet.
Exactly. Okay, now part 2. Back to the Future Part 2. So parts 2 and 3, obviously they were famously filmed at the same time as one another, because they're just like, I mean, we got to make a third one, so they just made them all at the same time, which I think was a smart move on their part. Because they were just like, all right, we got to make it a trilogy, because why would you just make 2? It's like, so, and I think, all things considered, I think they did a great job at continuing the story. I will say it's not as good as the original. I think we can all agree the first one's the best one. 2 and 3, I go back and forth on which one I prefer. I still love these movies, but like, definitely not to the same degree I love the first one. Even just by a little bit. I think all things considered, what we could have had Back to the Futures Part 2 and 3 end up, I think we're incredibly lucky with the versions we got.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, these movies rule. So the second one specifically I wanted to talk about. So obviously the most famous part about it is they go to 2015. They go to 2015. Which, you know, is long gone. We experienced 2015 10 years ago.
We're 10 years in the future.
Yeah, it was nothing like the 2015. I mean, there were some things they got right, but like, you know, overall
we're having sex with robots more than real people, you know.
Yeah, we still don't have flying cars.
The Twitter article's right.
The Twitter article's right. Yeah, no, it's obvious. The 2015 stuff is the most famous stuff with the second movie. And it's no, I mean, obviously at the time it was just like, oh, we get to see how they interpret the future. And, you know, especially us looking at it, you know, 30 years later, we're just like, oh, did they get anything right? And they, you know, they got some things right. I think the part they got the most right was the 80s nostalgia angle. Like, 2015 was when, you know, The Force Awakens came out, you know, so like, and, you know, like a year later, Stranger Things season 1 came out, and, you know, we're just, all these other movies were getting remakes and legacy sequels around the time. Like the 2010s was like 80s nostalgia heaven. Like everything that was popular in the 80s was coming back in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So that part where he goes to the cafe 80s, you know, they have like,
which is it works out very well for them that they can just like reference what they know.
Yeah, they reference what they know. Like, and I like that. I like there's a really subtle detail where like Marty like looks in like a thrift store like window and you see like Roger Rabbit and like old computers, and it's like, oh, that's just what thrift stores look like now. Like that's not even like a joke. Like it was supposed to be a joke back then where it's like, look at all this stuff that's going to be in thrift stores. It's like, yeah, that's literally what thrift stores look like now. It's so funny. Right. Yeah, but like the whole 80s nostalgia aspect, I think they were still underestimating how big 80s nostalgia would be, because like, yeah, even to this day I think people still just like romanticize the 80s. Yeah, even to this day.
Yeah,
I get it,
and I think that's and suddenly I think, yeah, like part of their, like what they didn't realize, I think like part of like is that, you know, you look at their vision of 2010 has a lot of identity. It has a lot of culture. And a lot of people make the argument that, you know, like post like the 2000s, like we haven't really, like the eras of decades have kind of like disappeared. Like we don't really have a defined culture like for the 2010s or the 2020s. And that, so like we still kind of identify with the like people like to identify with the stronger cultural identities of like the 1980s, 70s, 60s,
yeah.
90s.
Oh yeah, I heavily fuck with that, because yeah, it is kind of hard to like kind of visualize, you know, yeah, what makes a big difference between something like the 2010s and the 2020s.
Yeah,
you know, I
don't even know, like I just like when you know, they're dressing up Marty for like, okay, here's how you're gonna look in the like, here's how like people look, and they give him like the inflatable jacket or whatever. The thing is, like before he like, and that obviously, yeah, no, that you don't have electronic shoes and stuff like that, but like before he puts on the shirt and he's just wearing, you know, jeans and a red shirt, like yeah, you'd see a guy walking around in jeans and a red t-shirt. Like that's yeah, that's something you'd wear these days.
Yeah, definitely. Like in the in the clothes aspect, there hasn't been a lot of, you know, forward thinking. Like, yeah, people will just wear pants and a t-shirt nowadays, or like a suit or a pantsuit or whatever. Like, yeah, it's not really,
or like a plastic tie, 2 ties at the same time. You know,
that's not something people do. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
The clear just plastic wrap tie. I don't understand what's the point of that. Doc's wearing.
Yeah, I think it's literally just because it's like, oh, it looks futuristic. It's like, yeah, I guess, but like there's no practice. Yeah, a lot of the future stuff, it's like, yeah, it's cool that it's the future, but a lot of it is not practical. And I think that's why, you know, a lot of movies, whenever they predict the future, they just do stuff because they can. They don't think about the practicality. And so us living in 2015, it's like, yeah, when we were living in 2015, a lot of the stuff we had was practical. Like smartphones were practical. the stuff we wore because it was practical. We're not dressing in like trashy 80s like neon colors because it looks futuristic. Like, no, we're wearing jeans and a t-shirt because that's what was practical. But like, yeah, we don't really care about the practicality of things in movies. We just want to see flying cars and like, things that happen in the future. Oh, the Cubs win the World Series in the future against Miami. The funny thing about that is Miami didn't have a team back in the 80s. So that's the joke where it's just like, oh, they beat Miami. They can never beat Miami in the World Series though, because Miami and Chicago are in the same league. So I think they're both American League. Yeah, so they're not on National League. So, again, baseball nerd here.
But the Cubs did win, though.
The Cubs won in 2016. So they were off by a year. They were close, though. They were actually close to winning the World Series in 2015, as far as I remember. Crazy. I don't think they made it, but yeah. Oh, my God. What a Hail Mary that would have been. Just like, the Cubs win the World Series. Because the Cubs famously had a longer dry spout of winning the World Series, longer than the Red Sox ever did. Like the Red Sox famously, again, I'm putting my Boston cap on here. The Red Sox famously did not win a World Series for 86 years, and it was seen as a drought, the Babe Ruth curse, because Babe Ruth left the Red Sox to go play for the Yankees, and because Babe Ruth left, the Red Sox never won a World Series from 1918 to like 2004. 86 years. And so, but like the Cubs had it even worse. Like they had it for like a century. They didn't win a World Series.
And of course the Red Sox, what was the Jimmy Fallon movie that they were filming? And then like while they were filming it, did the Red Sox win the World Series or something?
Oh, it was called like Fever Pitch. I've never seen
Fever
it.
Pitch, yeah.
I've never seen that, but I've vaguely seen I've seen like a poster of like Jimmy Fallon wearing a Red Sox hat.
12 years ago or something. 13-year-old me thought it was a decent movie. And
okay.
Like, they show at the end like a footage of like them at the World Series. Like a major part is the movie is that they never won the World Series, and then that year they won the World Series.
Oh, that's funny. Wow, I didn't. Yeah, that's funny. I need to watch this movie. Then.
Yeah, it's cool that they used real footage, and like Jimmy Fallon and the other girl were in character in the stands. So that was fun.
That's interesting. I got to check that out. But anyway, so Red Sox were
unrelated.
Yeah, no, unrelated. So anyway, the Cubbies won in 2016, so they were off by a year. But yeah, if they had won in 2015. We would never hear the end of it. We're just like, what else do you know, Robert?
Should have bet on it. Yeah. Zemeckis gave us the almanac, the sports almanac.
Yeah, sports. So that's kind of that's one of the big MacGuffins in this movie is that Marty, he goes into the future to save his kid. So that's something I actually did want to talk about. How Doc, the inciting incident when Doc's just like, you got to come back with me. Your son, he did something, and is your daughter is gonna this one moment just ruins your family forever. And it's just like, okay, if it happens in the future, we could always just deal with it when we get there. We don't have to deal with it right now. We can always just wait until the future and then deal with it then. So we don't have to really do this. But whatever. What? It's a movie.
Yeah,
I don't
care.
They
wrote themselves into a corner with that.
Yes. Yeah, they definitely did.
The last movie kind of went off.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely we kind of wrote ourselves in the corner, so I guess we got to deal with this now. But again, whatever. You have a time machine movie, so you're just like, well, we went back in the past, now we got to go forward in time to the future. So you're gonna have them visit the future. It's fine. I'm fine with that because then
I think Doc was also just kind of excited too. I think he just really wanted Marty to go to the future, and
I will also say
brings Jennifer along.
Yeah, brings Jennifer along. I will also say it's not really explained clearly where Doc goes. He kind of just leaves Marty to be his son, and Doc's just like, damn, I'm late. It's like, late for what? Where are you going off to? I don't know. Again, whatever, minor nitpick. It doesn't matter. Actually, something I wanted to bring up that I thought was really cool this time around. So, you see Marty's son is played by Michael J. Fox again. But this time he's a lot more sweaty, and he's just his jacket doesn't work properly, showing how pathetic he kind of is. I remember being a kid just being like, oh, they just, had him be him again. It doesn't matter. But I did notice this time around, I think it really helped with the Blu-ray quality, seeing that Michael J. Fox as Marty Jr. has brown eyes because Jennifer has brown eyes. So like Marty so Michael J. Fox has like greenish bluish eyes, but his son in the movie has brown eyes. So it's like, oh, okay. So they did change that aspect to kind of show a difference between them. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, and any scene where it's Michael J. Fox on screen with himself, or like when it's old Biff and his grandson Griff, like, oh my God, the special effects are incredible. Like, it's
like that. Once we get the hoverboards, like the hoverboard effects are really good. Like the hover cars, like like it's not perfect, but like. For like 19, like we're 86.
89 was like, when the movie came out. Yeah,
okay.
But
last game of 90. Yeah, that's great.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing is like, I was like watching the movie, being like, where did they cut the scene? Because they had to film like two different scenes of like Thomas F. Wilson as Old Man Biff and then as Griff. Like, where did they cut? We're like, oh, because like they're getting him so close to each other, where it's just like, no, like again, the split screen in this movie is so good that like it's fooling me the whole time. Like it fooled me on the same level as like split screen done now. Like that's how good it is.
Yeah. Like I had no idea. Like I never had the slightest clue that they're the same. Like they look the same, but I didn't know they're the same actor.
Yeah, exactly. It was just really, really awesome. But yeah, so then the inciting incident is that Marty thinks is like, I really want to bet on sports because like he sees he really wants to, like, so he buys the almanac. I like the detail of like how the woman's just like, this book, it has like a dust cover, so then the book wouldn't get dusty. If you're also interested in dust, as if like that's what he's interested with the book, is that the dust aspect and not the contents within the book.
What is this, the Truman Show?
Yeah, it was just really interesting.
It's kind of true.
But yeah, he gets this sports almanac. But then Doc is just like, dude, no, we can't do that. Like like, stop it. Like we can't know too much about our own future. So then Old Man Biff sees this and he's just like, well, I want to take this. So then he hijacks the time machine while they're going to save Jennifer. And so then he brings the almanac back to his past self back in 1955. And that's what kicks off the second half of the movie. We're like, we gotta, because they save Jennifer, they go back to 1985, and they think it's their 1985, but oops, it's not. It's an alternate 1985. So not only are we dealing with time traveling, where it's like, we go back in time, we go forward in time. Now we're in a time period, we're in our own time, but it's not our time. It's not our version of 1985. It's the one where Biff is the richest man on earth and he turned the clock tower into a casino hotel, and Hill Valley's just a shithole with like crime rampant. Strickland has a fucking shotgun, and I love that he's still like, living in like this Gotham City hellhole, but like he still like treats everybody like he's the fucking principal, because he's just like, you look like a slacker. And like when people are shooting at him and he like shoots back, he's just like, eat lead, slackers. So good.
Never change
Strickland. Yeah. So no, I like that. I like that we get this alternate 1985, but like Marty's still alive. Like, whoa, okay, he's still alive. But yeah, I just love the fact that like, Biff gets rich because he's just doing all the right bets. I just love like the different newspapers showing like the luckiest man on earth, and it's just like Thomas F. Wilson with the thumbs up. So funny. No.
And he did make some investments. He made some business investments.
Yeah, in Bitcoin, famously.
Yeah. Eventually,
of course. No, it's
I think that
go ahead.
I think that like, this is something I haven't researched specifically, but I think that they, like, it's like Zemeckis says, like he's based off Trump basically before.
I didn't know.
Like, this is like 80s Trump.
Yeah, I know people like make jokes because he looks kind of like Donald Trump when he's like middle-aged Biff. and like he's the richest man on earth. He owns a casino, and everyone's just like makes the connection of like, oh, he's just like Trump. I didn't know Zemeckis actually said like.
I think Zemeckis did say that.
It's like vaguely.
And I was like. Trump wasn't that bad at the time.
Well, Trump,
like,
Trump was
like
just
bad. He had bad domestic issues, and
right. But like nobody knew about that. He's just like he's just kooky billionaire with funny hair back in the 80s. He's not the president. Yeah, Trump back in the 80s is completely different from Trump now.
Known at that time,
right? Of course, but
he
like
was a little more of a media darling at that point.
Yeah, he was a media darling. He was just he was just kooky billionaire guy. He wasn't the president of the United States. Yeah,
right.
So things change, of course.
Prophecy fulfilled.
Prophecy fulfilled. Tell me this, future boy. Who's president in 1985? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor? Like, yeah. So, yeah, no, and I like, and I again.
Real estate mogul.
Real estate mogul. Where is I going with this? Oh yeah, so yeah, like you had said earlier, how like Christopher Lloyd then has to explain what happened with the chalkboard, and that became a staple of time travel movies of like having to explain the timeline. Again, it's explained.
They can't go to they're like can't go back to the 2015 they were in.
Right. Yeah. No. Like I like the way they explain it because again, it still is explained in a way that makes sense. It's not confusing to me. Again, if I have to think about it a little bit logically, I'm just like, well, there's this and that to take into account. It's like, okay, so he goes back to 1985 and. That's the era, like whatever. Like, but as a kid watching this for the first time, I think, Doc Brown explains it perfectly. Oh, we were in 2015, somewhere before 1985, something happened to the timeline where, the timeline skewed and now we're in an alternate 1985 and we can't go back to the 2015 we were at because it's going to be the 2015 of this 1985. So we have to go back to when, Biff got a hold of the sports almanac. And again, I have to bring this up. We're like, they're kind of like confused. They're just like, we have to figure out how Biff got it. I'll ask him. It's like, no, you don't have to ask him. Just go to the time circuit. The time circuit says,
you could...
they explain like, this one says where you're going. This one says where you are. And this one says where you were. It's like, so whichever the one that says they were, that's where they can figure it out. Yeah. It's like, but
and I guess it could. Hopefully, it would have like a longer history recording, but technically, they were in 2015.
I guess, like, there's that.
Yeah. But you think they'd have like some sort of like record?
Yeah,
like the computer can record like, okay, like here's a different,
right,
like a longer history than what the last one.
It is very subtle though. Like when they're in 2015, like after Biff gets back. From dropping off, from giving himself the almanac, and he gets back to 2015, and they are none the wiser. I like that, like it actually says like, oh, where they were last, November 12th, 1955. And so then, then they have to like they get the information from Biff. Because he confronts him. Because then, I guess if we didn't confront him, we wouldn't get the Clint Eastwood foreshadowing scene where he's in the hot tub with the babes and he's watching A Fistful of Dollars. So I get it. And then you got to have a scene of him confronting and like and then there's
I think that's a the most powerful Biff we've seen. Marty like facing off with I can't think of a good way to like boss level Biff.
Well, because like that's
where he's like the most evil, like he's the most evil Biff.
Most evil Biff. I mean,
I enjoy that.
That's when it really gets down to it, where it's just like, all right, Biff is just an irredeemable asshole. That's why we love Biff. Like, there's no humanity in Biff. Like he's just a dickhead. But that's what we like about Biff. Like, I feel like I feel like if they were going to try and make him a little more human, quote unquote, they could have, but they didn't. They felt just like, no, let's just double down on him being a bully character. Just double down on him being an asshole. And I like that. I like that they doubled down on that. because
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of rapey in the first movie.
yeah,
too,
that's
so,
true too. Yeah, he does he he is a little rapey. That's true. So maybe you don't want to sympathize with this character.
Yeah,
So
I don't think we need to sympathize.
Sure, that's a good point. No, that's true. But I like that he's just an asshole all the way through, and I think Thomas F. Wilson does really well with that.
He kills George.
He kills George.
He's gonna
Two
kill
McFlys with the same gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think again, Thomas F. Wilson. I remember looking through the behind the scenes, and like every time someone would bring up Thomas F. Wilson, they're like, he's the complete opposite of what Biff is. Like, he is one of the nicest guys ever, and it's just really funny because like,
cool.
yeah, he seems really cool, but like he I think he's at his best in this movie where he's just like because he's playing 3 different performances.
Oh yeah.
You know. Old man Biff.
Something really strange going on here.
Yeah. Something very familiar.
Something awfully familiar.
Yeah. But he's also playing young Biff. He's playing middle-aged Biff. He's playing old Biff. Like, he's playing Biff at all these different intervals in his life, but he's still able to get that real nasty assholeness down really well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so then, what a coincidence. We have to go back to we have to go back to the first movie. Like, the events of the first movie are playing out, but we can't make it seem like we're a part of it. Like, because we have to get the sports almanac, but we also have to make sure we don't intervene with our past selves, so then we actually make it back to 1985 from the first movie. So again, adding on an extra layer of tension, and they do really fucking well with it. Yeah, I like the scenes of him like just interacting, like, you know, kind of getting different angles of what's happening. Like, the first movie's going on, but like, he's in Strickland's office, or he's punching Biff somewhere else. You know, and then like,
and that is where like, yeah, they're like existing with shots from the other, like when like Marty's like sneaking under the window of the car that Marty and
the first movie
Lorraine are in.
Yeah,
like that. Those like I can't however they composited those two together.
Yeah,
like,
it looks really good.
It's
like,
awesome.
You can think about where they probably
so
split
cool.
it, but like, it's still done in a really well way. I really love the scene of him sneaking into Strickland's office. One, I love the scene because it shows Strickland's hypocrisy, because he's just like always, you know, trying to weed out all the slackers in the school, and like, here he is drinking like in on school property. Like, great moment. But yeah, it's incredibly tense because Marty's trying to get the almanac back, and like, the scene where like Strickland leans back in the chair and crushes his hand. He can't scream, so he puts the fedora in his mouth. Like, and then it was all for naught because that wasn't the sports almanac. It's
the dust cover.
Yeah, it was the dust cover over the nudie magazine that they were actually oogling. Because it's like, all right, teenagers.
Yeah.
But then again, that
you're paying attention, that might bring up even more questions.
Right. You know,
1950 to 2000.
Yeah. What's with all these naked women?
No sports in here at all.
This is bullshit. I can't read. This is no sports statistics. But I really like then that gets into the chase scene where they like are flying over. I love the line when like they're just like, Doc, why don't we just like crush him right now? And he's just like, Marty, he's in a 48 Ford. We're in a DeLorean. He'd rip through us like we were tinfoil.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I always like that imagery of like just like the car landing and it just rips apart because the Ford is like much bustier. It's great. They filmed that tunnel in this movie. It's the same tunnel as Toontown, the entrance to Toontown in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it looks familiar.
Yeah, that tunnel.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that was really cool. This is a scene that has stuck with me forever because I remember being a kid just watching it being like, that's bullshit. When Marty's like on the hoverboard and he's trying to get the almanac back and he opens Biff's car. He like opens the door on the passenger side and Biff doesn't realize. And me being me growing up in the 2000s, like, if you open your door while the car is in motion, the car tells you, it'll just like, you know, the lights will go on and like, it'll beep. Like, even back in the 2000s, like, it would let you know, hey, somebody's opening your door. But I guess in the 50s, it's like cars weren't that technological.
Like, it's a 46
Yeah.
It's from 1946. I don't think I don't think they'd have that technology.
No.
But yeah, I like the imagery of you have like I think you have at one point like in a row like it's like you have the 46 Ford, the hoverboard, and DeLorean like all in a row. It's like
totally
representing like all the three different eras at this point. Like
totally. Yeah.
I just like the imagery of that.
No, it's awesome.
So yeah, it's a good chase. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great chase. And then you know, it all comes to a head. They've got the almanac. They defeated Biff once again. He ran into the manure again. You know, they didn't disrupt their time traveling from the first movie, so that now they can just take the almanac, burn it, and you know, again, because the events of the first movie, the storm is happening, and so like even though they've burned the almanac, what happens? The DeLorean is struck by lightning. And so then so much so that Doc disappears and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst. Like that moment, like the rope of flags comes falling down, it's like singeing. You're just like, oh no, he could not be more fucked at this moment. Like he's stranded again in 1955 with no way out until great fucking moment. This is why I love the second movie, because it has an equally iconic like ending moment. You have a car approach and then you have this mysterious man in black and he's just like, "Are you Marty McFly?" And you're just like, how the fuck did he know that's Marty? Like, what?
Yeah.
Great moment. And so then you see he gives him a letter. He's like, "I'm with the Western Union."
Talking about the Avengers.
Avengers Initiative. Not yet, Minion. Not yet. No, he hands him a letter. I like that moment where he's like, "I've got something for you." A letter. Yeah. It's like, oh, how nice. Yeah, we've had this letter in storage for 70 years. We didn't think you'd actually be here. Looks like I lost my bet. Oh, but it's so great. He starts reading. He's like, "Dear Marty, by my calculations, you're probably reading this." He's just like, "Oh my God, the Doc's alive. He's in the Old West, but he's alive." It's like, oh yes, everything has worked out. And it's like one more great scene. He's just like, "Oh, there's only one man who can help me now." He goes to the first movie. The first movie events are happening. Like Marty goes back in time. Doc is celebrating. I love the musical sting. Like, you know, it does like the from the first movie, you have like the little trumpet doing like the little like Back to the Future moment when he's like walking along like the fire, but then it immediately it like holds on it, and then it goes right back into like the exciting music when you see Marty like run in from the background. He's just like, "Doc, I'm back from the future." It's like then it's like, "To be concluded." It's like, oh, yeah, such a perfect way to end the movie. And then it does play. I guess it's baked into the movie when it plays like the teaser trailer for the third one, because again they were filming.
Yeah, that's a wild its own right.
Yeah, it was. I mean,
like, we just put a trailer in the movie. Like,
I mean, yeah,
that one didn't catch on too much.
No, not really. I mean, but like this was still like kind of a huge thing to do in the back in the day. Like, imagine if Empire Strikes Back ended the way it did, and then immediately started playing clips from Return of the Jedi. Like, people would have gone ballistic if that happened. So like, to do that in 1989, that was kind of huge to do that.
Right.
So yeah, they start playing. I will complain. I have to complain because, you know, me being me, they do, and it's a split second thing, so it doesn't matter. It qualifies as a nitpick, but I have to say, during the trailer for Back to the Future Part 3, they have 1 second of him with Jennifer, you know, because that doesn't happen until the very end of the movie. I always like, I saw that this time and I'm like, I had to think about that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They spoiled it. They spoiled the ending. Like Which I guess in the grand scheme of things, you kind of already know he's going to make it back to the future. But like, still, man, like at least
it could have been a dream sequence. It could have been a dream sequence.
I guess you could have interpreted it that way, but like, I don't know. I feel like that's still giving away too much. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But yeah. So again, the second one, I still really like the second one. I think it does peak at the beginning.
You know, maybe they become like assholes or something.
Yeah. What do we become, assholes or something?
You know, they make it back, but they're assholes.
Yeah. Oh, this is funny. So the first time I ever watched the trilogy, I watched it. I feel like it was at like either Nick at Night or Freeform, or back when it was ABC Family. So obviously, whenever we'd watch these movies, we'd watch the TV edits, and just the way they'd censored these movies was so funny. So like, instead of Marty being like, what do we become, assholes or something, they'd just be like, what do we become, jerks or something. Like it's so obvious. Yeah, it was dumb. But anyway, so the second movie in general, I still really like. I think this is a very solid follow-up. Obviously some time travel inconsistencies where it's just like, all right, we don't have to do this. You don't have to do it this way. This is kind of dumb. But I think the spirit is still alive, where like you still have, the tight script where like everything plays a part. Nothing is wasted. Everything that happens in the beginning kind of plays a part in all the way through to the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite as like, perfectly written as the first one, but like, again, that same spirit is still there. And again, the special effects are incredible. The split screen technology is just phenomenal. And like, so much so that despite the weird logical inconsistencies, I still think this is a fun follow-up to that first movie.
Yeah. I think, like, I kind of mentioned as with the first movie, I think there's a, I think they, once they get to the second and third, like, it does get a little more exposition heavy with a lot of the dialogue. I think you can, like, look at, like, it's like, oh, McFly in there, with like Biff, old man Biff is like having to explain a lot of stuff to Marty, like, oh yeah, here's the context of the situation. Oh yeah, telling him, oh yeah, your dad's a real screw up or whatever. Whatever he says.
How does it feel to be related to a guy who flushed his life completely down the toilet? It's like, who says this?
Normal conversation. And it's like his family, like. Yeah, like Marty's family just trash talking him in the living room. Like, before he comes home.
If only your father didn't get into that accident with the Rolls Royce. It's just like, that's very specific, Lorraine.
Life down the toilet.
Yeah.
I guess saying, oh yeah, my son flushed his life down the toilet.
Yeah. Weird.
While he's hosting me for dinner.
Yeah. Thanks, asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's weird, but I'm willing to forgive it because it's such a fun movie regardless. Like, I think the 2015 technology is fun. The alternate timeline stuff is fun. The stuff like trying to not interact with the first movie timeline is fun. Like it's just, it keeps the fun factor. And that's heavily, heavily important for a movie like this.
And going in a different direction. Like, got people's minds racing. With like it is like they're pretty creative. Like I'm sure like the prop work with like the inflatable jacket, the self-tying laces, like I'm sure those were pretty difficult. And again, like the special effects to make the hoverboards and the hover cars, like, again, could not have been easy. They got like make them movable. Like the DeLorean is a transformer.
Apparently, but like that's why it's like it's not as good as the first one, but it's more than worthy of a sequel because
it's absolutely worthwhile.
Because the effort is still put into it. Like, it's not a lazy sequel. Oh, if this was a lazy sequel, that would have been heartbreaking. So like, it's clear they didn't intend to continue from the first one, but for what they were given, like what they did to at least make up for that, it's like I still think they did something really special here, that to the point that like Back to the Future Part 2 is still a worthy sequel.
And I'd say like worse is like self-aggrandizing too much, but again, I think that like the first movie's so good it kind of deserves it.
Oh yeah.
Like it's you get the you want to be careful, like not patting yourself on the back too much, but I think it's time travel. It makes sense why they're there. Like, we're not just like recapping the stuff to, like, for your nostalgia. This came out like, again, we're like 4 years apart. Movies, so
and also like the things it does similar to the first movie, I think that's intentional to show like, the connections through time. Like, I'm fine with make it like doing things similar, like having the scene where he's like gets knocked out and he's just like, Mom, I had this weird dream, like playing it out kind of like the first one. In the first one, it is a genuine surprise when Marty like gets up and he's just like 1955. It is his mom. But like, and then in this, it's like lit. It's very heavily shadowed. Where like it is kind of weird. Where it's like, oh, he could be back in 1985. Whereas in like the second and third one, whenever they do that scene, they have it shadowed, but it's very clear that it's not his timeline. So like, but at that point, the audience knows that. It's just there as like a cute little nod, being like, "Oh, it's this scene again," and everyone's just like, "Oh, that's done cutely. Like it's done in a cute way." I'm not annoyed that they replay scenes like that.
Yeah, I just had a couple other. We skipped over the most important part of the entire movie. It's when Marty. It's Marty Jr., right? Is his son's name?
Marty Jr. Yeah, Marty McFly Jr.
Yeah. Marty Jr. He gets home and he's switching on the TV, and if you pay close attention, one of the channels he turns on is an old classic. If you like Too Many Movies fans, he turns on the weird robot advert from the State of Animation VHS that we recorded on April Fools this year.
Yeah, it was like
the crossover.
Yeah,
the crossover.
That was when you sent me that screenshot of being like, "Oh my god, look at this!" It's like, holy shit, what are the odds? Like we didn't do this on purpose. I just wanted to have you on the Back to the Future episode because I'm just like, I usually can get really great film discussions out of Swine. I want to do it with Swine. Yeah, the fact that, and it's very subtle. Like it's very like I would, because I never noticed.
It's barely there.
Yeah, it's barely there. But yeah, one of the commercials playing is like, that CGI. I forget what it was, but it was like, I think it was one they actually shown like during the VHS tape, during the State of the Art of Animation VHS. They showed like behind the scenes of them working on this like robot space commercial. Yeah, and they had like CGI. It was like, and they played that bit for like a little bit. So it's like, oh. Now there's a connection between that episode and this one. Besides,
like holy shit, I know where that's from. I recognize.
Yeah. No, that's.
Hey, I've seen this one. I've seen this one.
What do you mean you've seen it? It's brand new.
It's 30 years old.
Yeah. Oh, what are the odds? Is all I'm saying. Like incredible coincidence.
There are no coincidences.
I guess not.
Movie, but you could argue that has a place. You could argue, or are there no accidents? I don't think those are
the quote I'm thinking of is Oogway from Kung Fu Panda when he says there are no accidents.
I think you could definitely argue that that's not a line they say, but I think like the number of coincidences just in like the timeline of these movies, like you could argue. And I think that like Doc, like where we get by the end of the third movie where Doc's like, oh yeah, the future is whatever you make of it, or I think he says that or along those lines.
Yeah, along those lines.
I think that like okay, like the idea is okay, like the future is relatively. I think you could argue like okay, their mindset was like, okay, the future is relatively set, but like there's like small alterations that can be made.
Totally.
I forget what my point was. But I think that like as they got like, because I think that there's definitely different outlooks on like they're writing 2 and 3 at the same time, but I feel like their perspective on things definitely like I kind of matured by the end of the third movie to where like their outlook on what like the significance of the time travel was.
Yeah.
Like, at the very least, Doc's character, perspective on things changes.
Do we want to get into number 3 then? With that said,
I want to just note the Michael Jackson, the AI Michael Jackson, Ronald Reagan's. And they're literally, but 2025 we got those.
Okay, yeah, true.
Thing.
Yeah.
And they really they make a big deal about how like old like tech books are, but they still have newspapers to figure out what day it is in 2015. Newspapers are still a thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, if anything, books are still if anything, books are given more respect nowadays than fucking DVDs and Blu-rays. Like you go into Target, they don't have a media section anymore. They have a book section, but they don't have like DVDs or Blu-rays anymore. So
I know whose fault that is.
Mine.
And that's why I'm going to devote my studies to understanding the other great mystery of the universe, women.
classic.
Another great line from this movie. Like,
Oh yeah, so many great lines. I mean, we're about to get into number 3, which has so many lines I quote.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything else for 2?
Yeah, I think that's everything I got.
Okay. Number 3. Number 3. So Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, just Marty hanging out at the dance party with the binoculars was completely normal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He wasn't doing anything suspicious there.
Yeah, no one like calls him out or anything. Yeah, just like holding up binoculars to his face.
Listen,
dance.
Listen, the 1950s were a different time.
The different time, I guess. They never like connect it, but yeah, like he is just like his father. Like you could argue,
he's a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah. All right, number 3.
Number 3. So 3 is in this weird phase for me where it's like I feel like, because people always talk about how much they love Back to the Future. They always talk about the first one. Then they say the second and third one aren't as good. I get this weird feeling that people either don't like 3 or they're just like kind of mediocre on 3. And like, I've never truly understood that. I guess the older I get, the more I start to see it. But like, even still, I love 3. I think 3 is a lot of fun. Now, maybe I'm making that up. I'm sure people love 3 just as much as they love 1 and 2. Obviously, yeah, everyone loves 1 the most. But I think 3 has a lot going for it that I really respect and appreciate.
Mm-hmm. I think 3 is definitely the one that gets like forgotten the most. I think.
Sure.
Just, like, not that people don't know it exists, but like as far as like the iconic imagery, like the first one is just like, the first one's the first one. The second one has the future stuff and like evil Trump Biff. Like people remember that. Yeah. They go back to 1955 again, so they can revisit that. The third one has it's West, so it's kind of okay. There's plenty of Western, like Western's like a very very heavily visited genre. Like there's not as much time travel going on. Like it's more like the first one. Okay, like we're stuck in this place until we can fix the DeLorean. Like the second one, they're bouncing all over the place.
Right.
It's a lot Old West.
That's a good point, actually. The fact that so obviously Westerns were huge in the 20th century, like enormous Westerns were everywhere. They're not seen as often anymore. Obviously you have your occasional Western coming out. Like it's not like it's rare when a Western comes out. No, Westerns come out all the time. You just, they're just not as popular as they once were. But that's a good point. Yeah. We're used at the time. I'm sure people were used to the Western aesthetic. Now, me being me, when I was like 12 years old, first watching this movie in like 2010, when I first watched it, I didn't really grow up watching Westerns. Like I knew what a cowboy was, but that's because I grew up watching Toy Story. I've been, Woody and Toy Story. Like that for the first 12 years of my life, the most I ever interacted with Westerns or the concept of Westerns was through Toy Story. So, but then I was
like this film.
Yeah. But then this film came along and I watched this and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Like, okay. Yeah. This is undoubtedly what introduced me more so to the concept of Westerns. Like this was the Western movie I watched the most growing up. And it's not technically a Western. It's a fucking, sci-fi action adventure movie. But
those themes are like diminished.
Right. Yeah. No, they really go hardcore into the Western genre in this movie. Which can seem a little strange. I think in concept that can seem a little strange. I think in execution they make it work. I like the Western aesthetic. I think they really do that really well, and I like it because it feels the most like, holy shit, we're really up shit's creek in this one. Like, we have no electricity, none whatsoever, or if we do, it's to the degree of the way Doc can invent it. Like not.
He's pretty crafty.
That's why he can make that fucking refrigerator.
It's not. I think of the meme where it's like, if I went back in time, I like the Greeks, all the stuff I could tell them with my vast knowledge, and it's like, So how do you make this electricity? I don't know.
Yeah, so true. But like, yeah, like, you know,
That's pretty good though.
Yeah, Doc's pretty good. It would like, but it's the most like they're so separated. They're like literally a century separated from where they once were. Like they're in they're practically on a different planet at that point. You know, literally when like Marty's having dinner with his distant ancestors, and they're like, "Would you like some ice water, Mr. Eastwood?" And she pours the water, and it's disgusting brown. Like that's how you know, like, oh shit, dude, like we're really fucked right now. You know, when he goes out to like, you know, when he's being chased by Mad Dog, when he's being chased by Buford Tannen, Biff's distant ancestor, you know, there's no road. Like it's all dirt and horses and stuff like that. He's like, there's no skateboard for me to attach. So like he immediately gets his ass kicked. So like, you know, it's not like the other movies where like you have the fun chase scene. No, he gets like tied and he gets almost lynched to death. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like this is again, it could not be more fucked is the thing. And I like that. I like that really heightens the tension even more so.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like how
they're more so out of his element.
How the hell are we going to get out of this one? You know, they go back to, because they went back, like they busted the fuel line. I will say, again, I'm putting my finger up. I'm being a nerd about this. So they say they need gasoline, regular gasoline to run the car, when it's explained in the first movie that it doesn't run on gasoline. It runs on fucking plutonium. And then he changes that so then it runs on garbage. But then in this one, he's just like, no, the garbage powers the flux capacitor. The cars always run on regular gasoline. It's like, okay, buddy, sure.
I'll have another thing to note is Doc should still have his DeLorean there too. So they could just repair the fuel line, siphon some gas out of his DeLorean.
Well, no, because like, no, that DeLorean is the DeLorean. Oh, wait, you're right. Fuck.
Oh, Doc has to store wait a minute. There's there's two DeLoreans there. There should be two DeLoreans.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Who knows? My question is, where is it? Because like Marty literally parks his DeLorean back in the cave when he's running from the Indians.
Yeah.
So like where? Yeah, Doc's DeLorean. He had to store it so Marty could find it in 1955. But yeah, we just never see it.
Yeah,
like, it's just forgotten about.
Did he not have the gasoline in that one, or like could he not siphon the gasoline in that one? I mean, I guess gas does degrade over time, but like.
But it didn't degrade over a period of 100 years or 70 years.
Yeah, that's true. It only if anything, it only degraded a couple months because he was there in January.
Yeah,
and then and then it's September. So yeah, he realistically probably could have still used it. Okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, this is a huge glaring oversight.
Yeah, that's just I noticed like the last viewing. Yeah, I don't know like, and I also like we don't really know how like. You say like I've been spending the past few months in 1885.
Yeah, because
so like, how long he's been
in
there?
The second movie, it shows that he goes back to January 1st, 1885. And then when he writes Marty the letter,
right?
He writes it on September 1st, 1885. So he's been living there for 8 months. And then, yeah, he writes the letter on September 1st, hides everything away. And then Mad Dog shoots him in the back on September 7th, 1885. That's why then he's dead. He dies. So yeah, no. So yeah, they could have done that, but I get it. They want to up the ante. It wouldn't be upping the ante if they just like went in and like, you know, got the parts and they're like, all right, let's go. Like we got to have an entire movie here. So yeah, glaring oversight, pretty glaring plot hole, I must say. But again, the fact that it took me until now to realize that just shows you how good this movie is. The fact that I still love it, and it has this like glaring plot hole.
To be fair, you did also see another issue where, it wasn't running on gas.
It wasn't running on gas. Like, oh, all of a sudden it's always been running on gas. It's like, then you were just lying in the first one. But again, whatever.
I think it makes sense that we can run the combustion engine on gas and still have like the I think that makes sense. I
Yeah.
honestly didn't even. I forgot about that.
They
part.
just didn't explain it that way. They, like Marty literally asks in the first one, "Does it run on regular gasoline?" He's like, "No, it runs on plutonium." It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
But
that's a.
yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they spell it out in the first movie, like it's not even like a minor detail.
Yeah,
technically it's a minor detail, but they do kind of spell it out, and they do
yes.
value the dialogue in these movies quite a bit.
Right.
Like the dialogue is pretty important.
Right, exactly. So that is kind of a big glaring oversight. Again, though, I can forgive it because then it leads us into how they go about it, and they go about it in an awesome way involving trains. So yeah, that was great. So like they're just like, oh, we can use this train to push it along the tracks, and hopefully we'll get up to 90 miles an hour, in which case we can go back to the future. And you know what? I'm glad they went with this because it involves a train, and the train climax is just phenomenal. It's easily as tense as the climax of the first one. Like, it is that well edited and that like exciting. And again, this is like even more like stressful. Like, let's hope we actually make it back to the future this time. Like, this is like everything's riding on.
We're gonna jump off a cliff and die.
Exactly. The stakes could not be higher.
I think it's interesting they never removed the barrier, like the dead end barrier, like all the planks that are just built. Like, you do have some more road, you do have some more track past that, but no, they're just gonna leave this like giant, like they wouldn't even like make it off the edge of the bridge. They just get like crushed. Like you get like you'd have a Marty sandwich inside the door. Like, it'd be gruesome, awful.
Yeah. Well, so I guess it's a good thing that he went forward into time before he hit it then. So
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. They were risking a lot. Huge risk, but I mean, it worked out. So I guess who's laughing now?
Because I don't think they can, like, they build that model. I don't think like they have an accurate measure of like how long it's going to take to.
Yeah.
Because like Doc can't practice with the real train. They had to steal the train.
Right. They just had to.
Even though he does eventually get his own train, apparently.
Yeah. We will get to that when we get to
He has a lot of funds.
Yeah. So, I think it's now as good a time as ever to bring up, the big kind of addition to the Back to the Future lore that this movie gives us, and that is Clara Clayton.
Yeah.
So yeah, in this one, they decide that I really like the arcs that Marty and Doc go through in this one, because again, Marty throughout the last one has been called a chicken his entire life, and like it shows like the consequences of being called a chicken, and him like letting that get to him that hard, where like he does like as Biff says, flush his life completely down the toilet. So Marty in this one,
I will say that's one criticism I want to make about the last. I think that they're really heavy-handed with the chicken. It's a little more toned back. You get like we get the idea. We know that he's bothered by that. And I think they oversell in the second one. I think they come back a little down to earth in this third one.
I don't mind it, because I think at least it's going towards a good character arc. So like I don't mind it, but I do agree it can get a little heavy-handed where you have every character being like, "What's the matter, McFly? Chicken?"
Third one.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, it's a little weird, and then it kind of ends off kind of not really finishing it off. So it's just like you have to wait until the third one to get the full experience. So I'm sure in 1989 that was probably pretty frustrating. But like now that we have both movies, you have the complete story. It's like, okay, now I can judge this fairly. I still think it's a good arc. I like that he has to learn. He has to learn to become a little bit more logical, a little bit more like level-headed.
It's kind of painful in the second film, in my opinion.
Of course, no, I completely agree. So, but with that said, he has to become a little more logical. But Doc has to, listen to his heart a little more. So he gets, a love interest in this movie. And you might think like, oh, love interest, like blah, 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 that may not. I think what they do with Clara is really cute. I like their scenes together, Clara and Doc. And again, it can seem a little weird because it's like, oh, he's in love with this woman who's technically older than him. And they're like, separated by years of years and years, like time periods.
Yeah.
But like, again, whatever. It's a fucking fantasy movie.
Yeah. like they're the on a mature like just like a growth like maturity level. I think they're probably pretty comparable.
Yes.
They've had very different experiences, and I think like they do a good job of like, okay, she's supposed to be dead, so like the consequences
Right.
of this are pretty limited.
Right. That is interesting. Yeah, they because they show the grave, at the beginning when they have the grave of like, oh, Emmett Brown died September 7th, 1885, remembered by his beloved Clara. So like he knew Clara, but it's like, but they still knew about Clayton Ravine.
Yeah.
So again, weird.
So there's like a timeline where like the original timeline is that she died in the ravine, like no one picked her up, she was in the wagon.
Yes.
So that's where Marty would know her from. And I guess like in the 1955 where Doc has, so I guess Marty's never been in the 1985 where she hadn't died and just lived. So we technically don't, but we've been in 1955 where Clara doesn't die in the ravine.
Right.
I guess the consequences weren't too significant.
I guess not. Yeah.
But
yeah. I still think the scenes of them kind of bonding over their love of science, the love of Jules Verne, like, and again, like I think Doc is one of those characters, like, for the past two movies, he's always been with the science stuff. He's always been working and stuff like that. Marty's kind of gotten like the love interest with Jennifer, a lot of like the emotional story. The emotional side of the story. This time Doc gets to have the emotional side of the story. And I like that. I like that we can, give this character for him to bounce off of, and it works. Like if it didn't work, then I'd be like, skeptical. I'd just be like, all right, this was a huge failure. But I like it. I like Mary Steenburgen as Clara. I think she works well off the characters. And I like that it's not just a, jealousy kind of story where like, oh, Marty's mad at Doc for like, sticking around with Clara. Like, no, he actually also likes Clara as a character and he wants Doc to be happy. But again, because Marty's going through his logical arc, he has to be the one to remind Doc, like, hey man, you've always said we can't alter history like this.
Yeah, it's yeah, I guess I don't feel quite as strongly, but yeah, I think it's nice to see. It's a good romance. It's nice to watch. It's nice. Yeah, you see Doc happy. Like I think that he has a more. I think I mentioned earlier. Yeah, like he has like a more like jovial perspective on okay, time travel is like that's what you make of it. Like I don't have to worry about this so much. We're just gonna like play it by ear. Like do what you think is right. Like try to
I will say
I think that's an optimistic out. Like it has a nice, it ties it up in a nice bow. I think that it works well for the trilogy that Doc has his perspective at the end.
Yeah, I will say my one big gripe is they do have a third act breakup where she's just like, "Oh, you're from the future? Yeah. I don't believe you." It's just like, all right. Like we know where this is going because she eventually does believe him. So yeah, and it doesn't really do anything different with that. It doesn't spend too much time. It's like relegated to one scene,
and like it makes sense story wise, but it's just frustrating to watch.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It doesn't like dwell on it too much, but it is annoying that it is there, I will say. But yeah, no. So again, to go back to like the quotable aspect. Oh, when we get to the Hill Valley party where they're just like celebrating like the clock, and they're just I love the scene of like the mayor being like, may it count time, or like may it run forever, or something like that. He says something like that where you're just like, oh haha, like he doesn't know. But like that scene just has so many quotable moments, like when Marty's talking to his ancestors Seamus and Maggie, and he like lifts up the pie plate and he's like, hey, frisbee far out. Like I say frisbee far out so much. And then the pinnacle, it was right in front of him. The pinnacle though is when he stops Buford from shooting Doc, and he approaches Buford and he goes, hey, lighten up, jerk. And like Buford like looks to his cronies and they're just like, oh. And he turns back, he just goes, mighty strong words, runt. Like jerk is the worst word he could ever say.
jerk. What do we become, jerks or something?
Exactly. Oh, so funny. But yeah, again, it's also just another little moment when he like shoots like the shooting game, and like the guy's just like, "Where'd you learn to shoot like that?" 7-Eleven. As if he knows what 7-Eleven is. Like, I love that.
I do appreciate, like, there's at the point where he is there, like Marty is more comfortable. I always like it, like on the like the hero's journey. Okay, like the heroes kind of come into their own, like they've grown a lot and they know a lot more where they're doing. But you still have Marty, like, again, I've already mentioned, I love the bar scene where he's like, I'll take, he has to think about it. Like, what is he going to ask for? They say, ask for an ice water, and it's still the wrong answer.
Yeah. Yeah, great. And I love that he has to pretend not to be a McFly, so he's just like, name's Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. And they're just like, what kind of stupid name is that? It's like, I remember being a kid and thinking like, oh man, good thing Clint Eastwood's dead, so then he doesn't have to hear about this. And then, no, he was still alive at that. He's still alive at the time of us recording. I'm saying that. At the time of us recording, 9/20/2025, so September 20th, 2025. It is 6:19 in the evening right now. As far as I know, Clint Eastwood is still alive right now. I'm just saying, because the last time I said that, guess what? Gene Hackman died. So I'm just saying Clint Eastwood at the time of us recording is alive. That could be different.
First, I'll maybe after we go back to 2015, we can go ahead to like the day we released the podcast just to double check that he's still alive.
Sure. I mean, he's still alive right now. He's 95 years old right now, Clint Eastwood.
Well, yeah, we got to go back into the future until like 3 days from now when you post the podcast, so make sure he's still alive.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood's still alive in 3 days. The fate of the universe is at stake.
Yeah. Oh no, but I'm releasing this a couple weeks from now. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, again, I've made it clear. So when people fucking comment, when it's actually public and they're just like, "Oh, did you know that Clint Eastwood's actually dead?" It's like, guess what? We're recording this again, September 20th. It is now 6:20 p.m. I'm letting you guys know how the sausage is made. We're recording right at this moment. Clint Eastwood is still alive. This is gonna age horribly, so badly. I already know.
And for as much as like 40 years ago, I also got. I don't want to curse him too, but yeah, like Christopher Lloyd, for like how good he looks as an old man, is also still alive. He's 86.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
I know. Yeah. It's awesome. But like, anyway, no, I remember being a kid and like every time they'd insult Clint Eastwood in this movie, I just remember thinking it's funny. And again, being a kid, I'm thinking, oh, Clint Eastwood's dead, so they can make fun of him. It's like, no, he's still alive. So the fact that they were making fun of him in this movie with him still being alive.
I'm just imagining the writers being like, thank God Clint Eastwood's dead. Fun of his name.
Everybody everywhere
will never get away with it.
We'll say that Clint Eastwood is the biggest yellow belly in the West. Yeah. I mean, I guess famously when the first movie came out and they insult Reagan, where they're just like, you know, who's president of the United States in 1985? Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor? Like, apparently Reagan loved that. He's just like, oh, that's funny. So they had him rewind so you could like see it again. I think that's how the story goes.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard that.
Yeah, but yeah, so again, he has to pretend to be Clint Eastwood, and so like, you know, and then later on in the movie, when spoilers, he gets back to 1985, instead of it being called Clayton Ravine, it's called Eastwood Ravine. Like, that's funny.
I was trying. I knew that was a thing. I couldn't find it in my most recent viewing. I can't remember when they add that, like where it is. But yeah, I couldn't find. I remember seeing it in the most recent viewing. But yeah, it's definitely there.
Yeah, Eastwood Ravine. It's like when the DeLorean's going over the tracks and it's like slowly going over. And you see a sign that says Eastwood Ravine.
Yep, there it is.
Hilarious. But yeah, I want to talk about. So again, yeah, to wrap up Marty's character arc, where he finally learns not to be called a chicken and just like let it go, you know, in the ultimate scene of like him facing off with Mad Dog Buford Tannen. You know, yeah, he learns to just not let it, you know, get to him. And it is weird because he has multiple scenes where like, oh, you have, you know, Seamus kind of spell it out being like, yeah, I had a brother named Martin McFly, and he got into people were calling him Yellow or calling him Chicken, and he got killed in Virginia City. And then like Doc kind of, mentions like, oh, you get into a car accident in the future. He's like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, no, never mind. And you just have all this pressure mounting until like during the bar scene, Mad Dog's outside just yelling all this obscenities at him, and then he finally has to just be like, he's an asshole.
Yeah. And you mentioned the I really like the scene between like where Doc's like does bring up like you're like why your life's like kind of in the shitter.
You need to be more.
I like that there's
future.
like because there's not like it's like a brief moment of like tension between because they're always like
getting
on
along
really good terms. I like that Doc brings up the tension in that moment.
It's
like,
not just a scene where
it's
not just a scene where you have Marty go, great Scott, and then Doc is the one to go, yeah, this is heavy, isn't it?
I like that too.
No, it's great. I love that moment too. But you're right, like that moment is also great because it shows like these two, like, this is like, we're in the third act of this enormous story, because this is the third movie. Like they've been on such a journey with this movie, and we haven't even gotten to the train scene yet. Like, so much has happened to these characters in this short amount of time that like, they really need to start reflecting on like, moving forward, what's going to happen, So like, it's a really great moment character-wise. I completely agree. But
we already mentioned, but he pulls the iron plate. He drops his gun.
It's such a great moment. It's so satisfying because I'm imagining just watching, the second one in 1989. And like you're watching it in theaters and you see like that moment when Biff is just like watching Fistful of Dollars on the TV. And then, you don't watch, and then you don't get to see the third one until a year later. And so then it's a year later, you finally get to see it. And then you see the moment when Marty just uses that scene. It's great because, for people who are paying attention from the second movie, a year prior, they're probably just like, oh, hell yeah. But also it makes sense in context because it's like, oh, he sees this, he runs into like the oven and like the little door falls off and he's just like, oh great, I'll just use this. But like obviously as a kid, because I watched these movies like over a weekend, I noticed it right away. I'm just like, oh, that's what Biff did. But like if you weren't like, again, in the 80s when like, I guess VHSs were common, so like I'm sure people were watching Back to the Future Part 2 within relative timing to 3, so they were able to point that out. But I'm talking about like, the average goer who probably couldn't afford these VHS tapes, and so they had to wait a year to see the movie.
But again, even like Doc does the same thing too. You're like it's different technology. It's a bulletproof vest rather than a metal plate. But like that is like, and they probably didn't know they're going to revisit that idea in the first one. But like Doc does have to respond to the like gun violence threat as well, and like choose to protect himself.
No, and it's a
and
great
also like while we're also mentioning that Doc's shooting hand has improved quite a bit between the first movie and this movie.
That's true.
It's like he's fumbling with the pistol when the terrorists show up in the first movie, and then now he's a marksman in this movie.
Well, he's had 8 months in the Old West. He probably picked up a few skills. So and then he Marty punches Mad Dog into a pile of manure because that's just what the Tannins are ever going to do from now on, is just fall into a pile of manure.
I hate it.
I hate manure.
They all hate manure.
Yeah. Great bookend to that kind of family tree.
Or beginning. Great beginning.
Great beginning. That's true too. And then we get the ever classic and exciting train heist and then train climax. Like, first of all, is this a holdup? It's a science experiment. Great line. But then once they're actually like getting the train moving and they're like trying to get up to 88 miles per hour, it's like, it's so intense. It's so exciting. I love it so much. Because like, again, I've seen this movie about as many times as I've seen the first one, and I'm still on the edge of my seat when Clara's just like hanging off the side of the train. I'm just like, are they gonna get there? Are they gonna get to 1985? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, again, they didn't have to try with these movies. The first one was such a hit that they could have just half-assed these movies. But no, they put their all into this climax. And like, it's so exciting.
Yeah, and we don't have there's no part 4, so like they don't have to make it back. And like Doc doesn't even make it back technically. Yeah, like Doc isn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not doesn't go exactly how it doesn't get tied up in like it does get tied up in a nice bow, but not necessarily how you expect it. So.
Right, exactly. So yeah, he makes it back to 1985, just like finally, and I mean the train explodes and in a fiery explosion. It's glorious. Great moment. I love the train explosion. And then yeah, Marty makes it back, and then like Doc has been saying the past 2 movies, like we got to destroy this thing, man. It's caused way too much problems. So
yeah.
And then, well, what do you know? There's a train coming in 1985, and Marty doesn't have time, so he just gets out of the way, and it just explodes. Let me tell you, I did get emotional seeing the DeLorean explode, because the DeLorean itself is kind of its own character, much like how, like, the Millennium Falcon in Star Wars is its own character.
Yeah.
Just watching it get obliterated, you're just like, fuck, dude, it really hits you, where I'm just like, that thing has been on so many adventures in the span of a weekend, realistically speaking. And it's just gone now. And you're just like, yeah, you can't help but feel just like really let down. Not let down. It's a feeling of melancholy that I really appreciate, because it's we're wrapping things up. The DeLorean is gone.
Technically, it did last like 70 years because it was in the cave for that long.
Yeah. Technically 70 years, but like it's all been in a weekend. Like all the events of these movies take place over the span of a weekend. Yeah, no, and then, well, it's not entirely over, because again, we have to make sure Jennifer's okay. Oh, Jennifer's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. But we got to make sure that Marty doesn't get into that automobile accident. And he doesn't. He's learned.
Hey, that's like a priority. Yeah.
Yeah, he's learned not to let people calling him chicken get to him. So Needles calls him a chicken, tries to do a race, and then he just says no. He backs away, and Needles.
He says yes, and he whips around. And
but he doesn't. So then Needles nearly hits the Rolls Royce.
Which probably was like Needles, like in the original future, like Needles probably almost did as well, and Marty probably couldn't like swerve out the way. Yeah, because Needles was blocking him in.
Right, exactly. Which is why Marty got hit. Which is why Marty is the one who hit the Rolls Royce.
I would argue the Rolls Royce ran a stop sign, but they probably had a pretty good lawyer.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if he's driving a Rolls Royce, that dude has an incredible lawyer. Exactly. Yeah.
And then he also broke his hand too. So
he broke his hand, so he could never play guitar. Yeah. So again, this one moment of him just like being called a chicken and taking it to heart would have really made his life rough. But like here, it's like he chose not to do that. So now it's like, okay, now his future truly is unknown. It's like, what's going to happen? Because then Jennifer pulls out the paper of the facts saying that he was fired. Now it doesn't say you're fired anymore. So it's like, oh, like, okay.
Which I could have sworn I remembered, like when I was a kid, it would change to you're hired. I don't know if that's like maybe a TV edit. Because it's not in the Blu-ray.
No, I remember it always being blank.
I could swear I remember seeing something like it changed from you're fired to you're hired. I thought it was kind of corny. Even at the time, I thought it was corny.
That's interesting. Maybe that is a TV edit. Yeah, no, I've never seen that.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, it's like some like a again, I can't remember terms like
Mandela effect.
Yeah, Mandela effect. That's what I'm looking for.
It's not Berenstain. It's Berenstain.
Yeah.
And then of course the ultimate. They go back to the destroyed remains of the DeLorean. And they see the train lights going off. It's like, there's no train coming. And then it explodes out of nowhere. And it's the time travel train. Yeah. A little corny, where it's just like, when the hell did you invent this, Doc, in 1885? Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then it just takes off like the bat. It looks like the Batmobile when it flies.
yeah, it's like this
Batman thing.
This Batman time travel train. It's like, this is pushing it. It's corny. I get it though. You want to have a very happy ending. Like, oh, Doc made it out fine, and like, oh, there's this big time traveling train. Like, it's cool. And I guess maybe it's just like a little like, oh, maybe there's more to come. But like, realistically, no, we don't want any more after this. So I can forgive it. The rest of the movies have been so well written that it's just like, all right, this is dumb, but it's dumb in a way that I'm happy. Like, I'm still happy at the end. I will say the worst part is the fucking kid pointing at his dick in that one shot. Yeah, that's forever ingrained. This one annoying ass fucking kid. Like one of his kids is just like doing this weird thing where he's like pointing at his dick, and he's just like motioning towards Jennifer's actress, just like pointing at his dick. It's just like, dude, gross. Like, you couldn't have done a second take. Like, really? Was this the best take Lloyd could do? Fucking with the kid pointing at his dick. Like, now it's ingrained in movie history forever. It's like,
Oops. Yeah. I do think it's I like the setup of like, you know, the train tracks going down, but like there's no train there. That's cute.
Yeah, it's
you don't
cute.
know, like, honestly, I know we now know these are on a train, but yeah, you definitely did not expect them to have like a time traveling train,
right?
Like, probably like,
and again,
that's probably fairly surprising.
Yeah, and again, it's emotionally resonant because then Doc is there to give him the picture, and it's them at the original clock tower together. It's like, all right. This is cute. I'm fine with this. Like, this is a nice ending. And yeah, at the time of us recording, it's September 20th, 2025. There has never been a Back to the Future Part 4 or a Back to the Future remake. There, as far as we're concerned, the ending of 3 has been the ending of Back to the Future for the last 35 years. And you know, the story goes is that Zemeckis and Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, the original writers of the original, like, they wrote the first movie and then they wrote the sequel. So this is their baby, Back to the Future. They wrote the screenplay, and then obviously Zemeckis directed the movie. So this is their screenplay, and both of them have refused to do a part 4. They've refused it. You know, they've said the Universal has approached them being like, we want to do Back to the Future again. And they're just like, no fucking way. Like, they've said like there will never be a Back to the Future 4 unless they're dead. And seeing as they're both old men now, time's a ticking. Like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But Back to the Future is famously like one of those big, you know, Hollywood franchises that hasn't gotten a legacy sequel yet. And it's like the one that like people have been saying for years, like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You know, because Star Wars had it, Terminator got it, Alien got it. Like, all these big Hollywood franchises that were, you know, darlings eventually got ruined by their legacy sequels. And so, yeah, we still haven't gotten it. But like, I don't know. It's going to happen someday. And I really don't want it to, because again, the third one was such a perfect ending.
And I guess I just kind of succumbed. Like, it's nice that this is like, you really do appreciate that Back to the Future is like one of the few that like has remained untouched. I'm kind of succumbed. It's not, you're pretty succumbed to it too. That like, okay, this is gonna happen inevitably.
It's gonna happen inevitably.
I think I think it's because like the main thing here. Okay, like, how do you recast Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox? Like, how do you? Like, you're not gonna be able to do that.
Well, that's my thing. Is like, what would they do? Would they make a part 4, or would they do a straight up reboot? Like, I don't know how they would go about it. Especially, because these characters are so iconic that like you can't recast them. You know, but
probably like a soft reboot.
Reboot. So like they probably would include. I don't know if they would get Christopher Lloyd or Michael J. Fox back for them. So then it's like, okay, we gotta have
tricky.
Yeah, but or they would have like some other actor, like they probably have Leah Thompson and Thomas F. Wilson come back, and they'd probably do something with them as like legacy characters. Like, obviously, they would have like brand new actors, like, I don't know, some up and coming young go-getter is like the main character. You have a couple kids as the main characters, and you have like some wacky actors like the Doc replacement. And then you have like Leah Thompson or Thomas F. Wilson as like the legacy character, just like, yeah, I knew Doc and Marty. And like, just like do this fake shit that's just like, this fake emotional manipulative shit. Like I can just see like how they would go about it. It would just be, it's never good. Like there is never a good, like I'm seeing like a million different futures of how they could do Back to the Future Part 4, and none of them are good. Like there is no best case scenario as far as I'm concerned.
I got an idea. Let's go to the future and find out what they do now.
Ooh, good point. Yeah. In 2030, they make Back to the Future Part 4, and everybody hates it. Like that's my prediction.
That's a good prediction. I think it's safe. I'm not gonna bet against that.
Yeah, no. So you know what? I'm gonna say no matter what they do with a Part 4 or eventual Legacy sequel, I love this trilogy so much that I don't think anything could ever ruin that, because I can always just be like, it's not canon, like whatever. Like there's a fucking
and like it.
No,
the
ahead.
Canon identity of these movies is very strong because like they literally like they pitch the next movie like at the end of each movie, like they have a like a literal trailer or like a cliffhanger ending. Like Part 3 doesn't have a cliffhanger ending. I guess it like okay, we don't know where Doc's going, but like they don't really invite us to follow or anything,
right. It's kind of like the ending to The Incredibles, where it's just like, behold the Underminer, and you think like, oh, the next movie's going to be about the Underminer. It wasn't, but like, realistically, that's not really setting up a sequel. It's just showing off that like, oh, these characters will have other adventures. We're just not privy to them. I mean, eventually they did make an Incredibles 2, but my point still stands. Like, it's not supposed to literally be a setup. It's just showing off that like, things go on. I mean, famously the Sopranos ending. I won't say what it is, but it implies things go on. Whether we're watching it or not, things go on.
Yeah.
So yeah, great movies. Yeah. I love Back to the Future, Charlie. I love Back to the Future.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I got like the pace of it. I think we've kind of alluded, like, the fact that like this happens over the course of like a few days, like the amount of things, like the just thinking about like from the like the first third of the second movie, like how long it takes just to resolve that like Jennifer is on the front porch. Like takes more than a movie and a half to like, oh yeah, Jennifer is left on the wrong porch. We don't resolve that until the end of the third movie.
Yeah.
So like, it's like they're absolutely jam packed. Like it's like always something going on.
Marty goes to school on a Friday and then goes through all 3 movies and probably has to go back to school that Monday morning the next day. Like, oh, Marty, what'd you do this weekend? A lot. Like
I went to the lake. I went
to the lake with Jennifer. That's all I did.
Yeah. That's all. Like the amount of like character, like he's a change. Like just trying to like get into like the like canon of like obviously like he's gonna kind of have his work cut out considering like a lot of things have changed around him. Well, he's also changed quite a bit, so that's probably gonna be a little weird. But yeah, like honestly, like like he's experienced a lot of change over the course of, like these few handful of days. Got like more self-control, a lot like it's more mature, like self-confidence. Like so he's matured. Like there's so much happens like in a very short amount of time, and so much time is spent in like repeating the same periods too, like the same day in like 1985, the same day in 1955. It's incredible.
So but great movies. I have the Steelbook Blu-ray of Back to the Future. Got it at Bull Moose. I grew up
Steelbook this time.
I grew up on the 25th anniversary DVD set from 2010. So like, because I watched the movie when I was 12, like originally on like TV, and then I think that Christmas I was just like, I want Back to the Future on DVD, and then my dad got it for the family, and it was just like, it was awesome. The fucking like, DVD collector set. So like that's how I experienced Back to the Future growing up, was like watching all 3 movies every time we'd watch Back to the Future. But then I really didn't want to keep it for the collection. Like, you know, over the years, I've kind of abducted, if you will, the movies from my family collection into my own. Like, I've kind of absorbed them into my
Sure.
own collection. I didn't take that one because the first movie DVD was always kind of loose on that collector's set. Like the,
Mhm.
you know, like the little push thing you put like the DVDs, the discs in. Like, it was always kind of loose, and so like it would always get loose, and I was very careful with DVDs growing up. Like, you put you like, if you don't hold a DVD like on the sides, like if people would like, you know, put their fingerprints on the playing side, I would just be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
ah, like I would go
Yeah.
nuts if my sisters would ever do
Treat 'em
that.
with respect.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
treated them with respect. So if I saw like a DVD knocking around in there, I'd get so fucking paranoid. Like, I hated when DVDs
Yeah.
scratched. So I wanted this on a nicer Blu-ray, so I went out and got the Steelbook. And I'm happy to say that, you know, the discs are holding just fine in here. And it comes with a bonus disc. I haven't had a chance to look through the bonus material, but I really want to. Yeah, no, I think it looked great on Blu-ray quality. I think having this Steelbook, I'm going to get many, many uses out of it moving forward. So, yeah, no. I mean, regardless if I keep this or not, I'm keeping all 3 movies in the collection. Like, they mean the world to me. I fucking love Back to the Future. So, it's going to be a mainstay in the collection for years and years.
Yeah, pretty easy choice.
Yeah, what's your physical media standpoint with Back to the Future? Do you own any of them?
So, yeah, so these days I've had like back in like 2015, I got the 30th anniversary trilogy collection.
Yeah.
On Blu-ray. It's one of those like book kind of like cases. Like it's got like cardboard it's like a hardcover book basically, and it's got like the discs are tucked in these little sleeves like that are like pages in the book. So it's not the most secure thing, but it is very nice. Like it's they've got like the bonus. It's easy to open, easy to read through. They got like quotes and posters, pictures of the posters, and it's got bonus feature disc. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I like it. It's it's been a mainstay in my collection for a while, and I absolutely would keep it.
Yeah.
Before then, I think my first I do have a bit of an interesting history with the physical media of Back to the Future. I remember that I can't remember how I like first started watching. I'm sure I like watched the TV or edit or something, but I remember like I was probably like somewhere around 8 or 10, like somewhere in that range. I watched the second one on Betamax. You know,
no kidding. Wow.
Because yeah, we had it on Betamax.
Interesting.
And yeah, I remember that was like the first time that because yeah, like you know, like Marty calls Biff a bitch in like one of the scenes. Yeah, so you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I remember that was like the first time it really stuck out in my mind, like that word being used. Like I kind of knew it existed, but yeah, that really always stuck out. So yeah, it was just like that was a interesting memory with physical media of this movie. But yeah, I remembered it was the Betamax, and like I had set it up, and that stuck out to me. So I probably watched censored ones before that and just didn't notice.
Right, exactly.
Because I like going back to it more recently, I didn't realize that like there is a lot more swearing than I would have expected, like for like a PG family movie.
PG, folks.
Yeah. And I do want to like wrap up the third movie a bit too. I think that also like it's the third one's because they're doing like time like appropriate language, which is definitely a little out of taste for these days. I think that also kind of makes it dated, that you know some people are a little squeamish around some of the words they use, like some of them are more are less PC than others.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that probably doesn't help it, but I also like totally understand. I think there's aspects of where like the writers are a little out of their depth with the writing. Like there's definitely some like, you know, Michael J. Fox is doing like this Irish accent, which is fine.
Maggie,
like there's like Sheriff of Nottingham. I gotta shout out.
Yeah.
The his voice is there.
Yeah, I always notice that.
I love that he's there.
Distinct voice.
And yeah, he's in a few scenes. And then I also got I feel like the biggest, like, honestly, I'm sure they did the best they could, but like the biggest like stain on the whole trilogy is just it's when Clara shows up in the barn. She gives him the telescope, and there's this like extended scene of dialogue between basically her and Doc, where Doc is like, it's mostly like over the shoulder behind Doc is the main shot. They do some like over the shoulder behind Clara, but Doc is just standing there holding the telescope like up like in front of his chest, and it is very, very clearly ADR. Like, I don't know if they had like a stunt double in there, but like, yeah, like you can tell that the audio was not the same source as the rest of the, like, there's one line where, yeah, like the audio is out of sync with the rest of like the voice lines in that scene.
Yeah, I never noticed that.
Yeah. But yeah, like even behind the back, like he's not moving, but yeah, he's giving lines, but he's not moving.
Right.
And yeah, it's very like, I don't know if he was like not available or like they had to do reshoots. But yeah, it's like the cinematography is very rough, and it's just that scene. But like, yeah, like, it's clear they dubbed it over and post.
Yeah, no, I'm probably going to notice it next time though, for sure. Like, now that you pointed that out, that's interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, he's just standing there super awkwardly holding up the telescope.
He's just standing there menacingly.
Yeah, so those are the last two notes I had for the third one.
I
think that's I'm guessing I just noticed that stuff because I edit movies.
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like, but yeah, that's a bit of I didn't even notice it until this most recent viewing.
Right.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, that bothers me. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. I think that's a testament to how good these three movies are, is that they have a lot of, again, logical inconsistencies with the time travel, and even little like weird edits like that, like only like us in the editing world would ever notice. But even still, with these weird things kind of holding them back, there's still so much to appreciate that we don't care about these little nitpicks. We still love these movies regardless.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, I completely understand. Like, yeah, no, it's, the movies have gotten weirder the older I've gotten, but that same sense of adventure that I get, I'm back to being 12 years old every time I watch this movie. It's that, or these movies, like the first one especially, but even the second and third one have their moments where I'm just like, yeah, I'm 12 years old again watching this for the very first time.
Yeah, so like it's not, they're not grounded films. I think like it's like, if you're looking for like gritty, like it's not gritty realism. It's not that. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
they're incredibly well made, but yeah, you're not gonna like get like like some like, and again, there's great characterization, great like emotion in these films, but yeah, you're not gonna get like gritty realism. It's just a fun romp with like great characters.
I agree,
and yeah, they do a great job. They're fantastic blockbuster films.
Oh yeah, blockbusters for sure. Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about everything I had to say about them.
Yeah, that's everything I got. I mean, obviously I could talk about these movies for hours, but like, honestly, we don't have a time machine to talk about them for hours. We only have as much time as we have.
We do have a time machine. We're currently in a time machine now, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I completely forgot. You made it.
The world is at stake, Hal. You forgot.
Yeah, you made it.
I need you to accelerate. So like, just like stick it in you like stick your computer in your car, so it's 88, and it'll pull both of us into the year 2015, so I can warn myself to buy Bitcoin.
Okay. Well, while I set up, why don't you shout out your stuff for the people at home listening, where they can find you?
As always, I am, as always, I guess I didn't mention, I had my channel was recently almost, was compromised, was taken over. I got it back. Shout out Team YouTube. Sometimes they do it right. So my channel's back. I'm at Uncultured Swine Studios, still kicking. Letterboxd, Twitter. I'm sure I'll make something. I do have I'm part of a project that will be coming out by the end of the year. I'm not at liberty to shout it out at the moment, But yeah, if you just follow me on YouTube, Twitter, I will definitely, and you might just be aware of it on your own. It's gonna be pretty big.
Interesting.
Yeah, get excited about that. I've just made some new shots a couple months ago. It was a lot of fun.
I'm twiddling my fingers with interest. Interesting. Yeah. All right then. Well, thanks for listening, folks. If you'll excuse us, we're gonna go back in time to the year 2015.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have my laptop figured out now. Let's go.